Straight Talk Society. This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of Straight Talk with Trevor.
Because the ladies from Pour Your Heart Out
no topic
will be over
is
here
off
to
limits.
join the panel.
Plus, but it's a must, you gon' respect this. Plus, the nuts will touch the dust, you try to check this. You ain't
The
insane,
MMA brothers, Bones and Zay, have pre and post shows to the MMA shows, and I am your host, Mr. Straight Talk, the man with the greatest beard on YouTube.
I'm gonna tell you something. Facial hair is not apostolic. However you want to cut it, it's compromise. I don't care if your leader says you can wear a beard, honey. Beard's nothing more than pride. You're not going to be dipped in Holy Ghost oil and run around looking like the world.
Oh, I love throwing that in there. Real quick, I am back on Facebook. I guess they took me out of jail. I was able to connect the channel back. Those of you on Facebook, make sure and hit that like, share, and subscribe button.
And also on Mondays, 6 o'clock, tune in to the same channel for Man Talk Monday. Trust me, you ain't got nothing better to do. Even if you think you do and you tune into that show, you're gonna realize, oh man,
okay,
I've been missing this.
Yeah. Because this is why you need me.
Once you listen to that, drop a like. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel because you're hard-headed, go ahead and subscribe to it
They
now.
are goofy.
And when you listen to that, if you haven't subscribed, you're gonna want to subscribe, and then you're gonna want to go back through the archives, and you're gonna want to catch up on all your Man Talk Mondays, and then you might be able to find a few Bible debates in there.
That's what I'm gonna say. TFP politics is on Tuesday.
Vancat, Mike, MD, and Ricardo do such a fantastic job with that. That's every Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
My position is impregnable. You can't do it.
If that doesn't fancy your boat,
yeah, Wrestling with Reality on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, acknowledge.
We have the return of Straight Talk Therapy sessions with the one and only Dr. Mia. So y'all be sure and tune into that.
And then you got the Bible debates on Thursdays.
So yeah, man, lock in with the Straight Talk Society, man, because you won't regret it, and we appreciate it. Also, milk coming out too. Look out for the merch. And if y'all can be so kind as to subscribe to the channel, it's only $1.99 a month. With all this premium content that we pushing out, it's definitely worth it. It just helps provide the channel with a resource to give y'all even better content, as if it can get better, right? But just go ahead and show us some love. We would be greatly appreciative.
The Straight Talk Society. We will not go over that 2.5 hour mark. So, Mike, you ain't got no shirt on, right?
I never have clothes on, bro.
But I'm saying you like right on the like crazy.
My bad. I don't like clothes, bro. Anybody that knows me, my fault.
Crazy.
Do you really believe that garbage?
It's not about believing, it's a matter of fact.
So you believe.
Well, nobody else could make a decision but me because I was the president. The final decision comes to the president.
You know, it's easy enough for a Monday morning quarterback to say what the coach should have done after the game's over. But when the decision is up before you, and on my desk I have a motto which says the buck stops here, the decision has to be made.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I want to say this to the television audience. I made my mistakes, but in all of my years of public life, I have never profited from public service. I've earned every cent. And in all of my years of public life, I have never obstructed justice. And I think, too, that I could say that in my years of public life, that I welcome this kind of examination, because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
President?
Yep.
Mr. President, I want to raise an issue that I think has been lurking out there for 2 or 3 weeks and cast it specifically in national security terms. You already are the oldest president in history, and some of your staff say you were tired after your most recent encounter with Mr. Mondale. I recall yet that President Kennedy had to go for days on end with very little sleep during the Cuba Missile Crisis. Is there any doubt in your mind that you would be able to function in such circumstances?
Not at all, Mr. Truitt, and I want you to know that also I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
And I'm the one who will not raise taxes. My opponent now says he'll raise them as a last resort or a third resort. But when a politician talks like that, you know that's one resort he'll be checking into. And my opponent won't rule out raising taxes, but I will, and the Congress will push me to raise taxes, and I'll say no. And they'll push, and I'll say no. And they'll push again, and I'll say to them, read my lips. No new taxes.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
You're full of shit.
All right, thank you.
No, shush. Shush.
In any country, prison is where society sends its failures. But in this country, society itself is failing.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
Niggas, you crazy.
Grab him by the pussy.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Shut your mouth, because you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I did.
Hold it, tough guy. I'm not afraid of physical. Hold it.
Don't sit there and tell me I'm not.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. Stand back and stand by. Will you shut up, man?
Last thing was Olivia Gondak. It says that I wanted to eat her pussy. Olivia Gondak. I've never said that in my life to her. I would never do that. I'm happily married. I've got more than enough to eat at home. Thank you very much.
You got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Okay. I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words. We now have a gun on every table. We're ready to start shooting.
By the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it.
This is the same man.
Sarcastic.
That was, even though they're trying to impeach the son of a bitch. Can you believe that? You believe that? That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
If I may ask
Peter,
one other
go ahead.
question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President,
That's
I was going
enough.
to ask one other.
I don't want reality. I'm asking the question, which one is better? That's exactly what it is.
Got it on tape.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
I don't like words that hide the truth. I don't like words that conceal reality. I don't like euphemisms or euphemistic language. And American English is loaded with euphemisms because Americans have a lot of trouble dealing with reality. Americans have trouble facing the truth. So they invent a kind of a soft language to protect themselves from it. And it gets worse with every generation. For some reason, it just keeps getting worse.
How stupid are these politicians to allow this to happen?
If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution every poll?
No, sit down.
Oh, you're a clown.
Sit down. Look at you.
You're saying it's a falsehood, and they're giving Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts. Alternative facts. Alternative facts. Alternative facts.
Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your.
I ain't talking politics, I'm talking life.
I ain't talking politics, I'm talking life.
Governor Connolly could very possibly have been shot in the back with the assassin's bullets still coming from the front of the car. He rode in a small jump seat in the center of the back of the specially built presidential limousine, specially built for such public performances such as this. As a matter of fact, the car is so built that the president sits higher than he would in a normal automobile, so that the crowd can get a good look at him. But as it turned out today, so that an assassin can also get a good shot at him. Further information here. The Catholic priest who helped perform the last rites, Father Huber, Dallas, said that he did not believe the president was dead at that time. The priest left the emergency operating room at Parkland Hospital and walked out of the hospital. Kennedy was in the car, as we said, with President Kennedy. He slumped into her lap, and she is said to be bearing up reasonably well. Stunned, but not in a state of shock as yet. She was seen crying in the corridors of the hospital. Bill Stinson, an assistant to Governor Connolly, says he talked to the governor in the hospital operating room. He says the governor was shot just below the shoulder blade in the back.
Parkland Hospital, there has been a shooting. Parkland Hospital has been advised to stand by for a severe gunshot wound.
That's an unconfirmed report that the president was hit in the head. The president's wife, Jackie Kennedy, was not hurt. She walked into the hospital at her husband's stretcher side.
The president of the United States is dead.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, some 38 minutes ago. Vice President Lyndon Johnson has left the hospital in Dallas, but we do not know to where he has proceeded. Presumably, he will be taking the oath of office shortly and become the 36th President of the United States.
So I thank all of you who made this possible this evening, all of the effort that you made, and all of the people whose names I haven't mentioned, but who did all of the work at the precinct level, who got out the vote, who did all of the effort, brought forth all of the effort that's required. I was a campaign manager 8 years ago. I know what a difference that kind of an effort and that kind of commitment makes. So I thank all of you, those of you who are here. Mayor Yorty has just sent me a message that we've been here too long already. So my thanks to all of you, and now it's on to Chicago, and let's win there. Thank you very much.
Senator, do you have any message? How are you going to counter Mr. Hortley's background as far as the delegate votes?
Just go, Dr. Douglas.
Okay, wait. Hey, I want to hear him really loud.
Senator Kennedy has been shot. Is that possible? Is that possible? It could. Is it possible, ladies and gentlemen? It is possible. He has. Not only Senator Kennedy. Oh my God. Senator Kennedy has been shot, and another man, a Kennedy campaign manager, and possibly shot in the head. I am right here. Rafer Johnson has a hold of a man who apparently has fired the shot. That's it, Rafer. Get it. Get the gun, Rafer. Okay, now hold on to the guy. Hold on to him. Hold on to him, ladies and gentlemen. Hold him. Hold him. We don't want another Oswald. Hold him, Rafer. We don't want another Oswald. Hold him, Rafer. Keep people away from him. Keep people away from him.
The Ambassador Hotel, Los Angeles, on June 5th, 1968, headquarters for the Robert Kennedy for President campaign. Victorious in the crucial California primary, Kennedy addresses an enthusiastic crowd in one of the hotel's ballrooms.
My thanks to all of you, and now it's on to Chicago, and let's win there. Thank you.
As he turned and went by me, he turned to the right toward the kitchen.
When he did come through, lots of television cameras and stuff, and we were going into a press conference.
He was shaking hands with the two busboys, talking with them, and it was at that time that the shots started.
Major D reported that Senator Kennedy had been shot.
He's been shot?
That's right.
I just heard this crackling noise and was shaking violently, and I thought I was being electrocuted. That was my impression.
Senator Kennedy has been shot. Is that possible? Is that possible?
I saw him laying on the ground. I knew that he wasn't going to live.
Everybody else, just please stay back. Just a doctor, come right here.
25 and a half hours after he is shot, at 1:44 a.m. on June 6, Robert Kennedy dies. Immediately following the shooting, there is little doubt in anyone's mind that 24-year-old Sirhan B. Sirhan, using an 8-shot, .22 caliber revolver, was the one who killed Kennedy and wounded 5 others. There were 77 people in the pantry that night, witnesses. He was tried, convicted, and sentenced to death.
It was a day that the world stood still. Ronald Reagan, the 40th President of the United States, shot and wounded as he was leaving the Washington Hilton Hotel downtown. Reagan's Secret Service code name, Rawhide. This is the way it played out on the police radio.
Shots fired. Rawhide is okay. Actually, we want to go to the emergency room of George Washington.
At the hospital, Reagan told his wife, Nancy, "Sorry, honey, I forgot to duck." Reagan spent about 11 days in that hospital before being released. Now, 40 years later, the Secret Service displays a replica of the gun used and bulletproof glass from that limo. The glass the round hit before it ricocheted into the president's chest, breaking a rib and puncturing a lung.
Okay. So what you are watching is video from just a few moments ago when former President Donald Trump was on stage at his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. You see the Secret Service who are surrounding him.
Donald Trump's account, @RealDonaldTrump, and I'm going to go ahead and read it to you by way of Trump's campaign, who sends it this way and says the following. I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all of law enforcement for their rapid response in the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also to the family of another person that was badly injured. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter, who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. He concludes in all caps, God bless America, exclamation point. That from Donald Trump at the medical facility now in Pennsylvania.
All right, here we go. It's another TFP Tuesday, Tape Fist Politics. I'm Ven Cat, and shortly I'll be joined by the world's most dangerous political panel. This week is episode 42, and on this episode, we're going to look back at this past Saturday's shooting, and we will be analyzing our thoughts and all the different developments that has happened recently surrounding this event. So as I speak now, I see we have Ricardo. What's going on, Ricardo?
Hey there, Van Cat, Sir Extraordinaire. I'm here. I am live this week. Sorry about last week and the prior week before, but I was not about to miss this grand event of accumulated popcorn awaiting moments, and here we are for one of them so far.
Oh yeah, always great to have you here on the panel. And we also have Mr. Mike. What's going on, Mike?
I don't know, maybe your eyes aren't working, but my name is Mr. Right. Thank you kindly. I'm here because I don't like to see two people on this show. There must always be three. So I'm here to hold it down until Mr. MD shows up. Then I will fade into the background like a fat Homer Simpson.
Oh my God, not in the bushes.
In the bushes, sir. In the bushes.
Man. All right. So, we're here to talk about this obvious big thing that's going on. Everybody's talking about it and blah, blah, blah. I guess what as we wait for MD, just in general, what are thoughts, when the news broke, et cetera, et cetera. I'll start with Mike. Go ahead with Mike.
Well, Mr. Wright says that two things hit me immediately. One, that it was fake it in a mug. If anybody saw my messaging or my chats at that moment, they know that the first thing I said was this was fake. It's the immediate reaction I had, this ain't real. And my second reaction is Hollywood Secret Service is 15 times better than actual Secret Service. Hollywood has convinced us that Secret Service is a machine that moves and they do things and they're professional. But if the only the only roof near shooting range is not covered, and I mean somebody on it, not people looking at it, then you are a shitty Secret Service, which just leans into me believing this thing was a whole setup. So I won't get deep into it until later, but that's how I feel personally.
Okay. A lot of people actually share those sentiments, Mike.
Only because
Ric-
Mike is right. That's the only reason why.
all right. So, Ricardo, what were your thoughts when this all went down?
Yes, sir. So I agree 100% with my twin, Sir
Yummy.
Mr. Wright, aka, there's multiple plethoras of names that my twin goes by, but
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wright is absolutely Mr. Right here. At first, I was dumbfounded, shocked at it, if that's a word. Flabbergasted. I was like, "What is going on?" Because it broke, and we were like, "What in the hell is going on?" And somebody got shot, and immediately I was like, "Oh, I didn't." Even... So no, that's not what happened. I was traveling actually at the time, and lo and behold, as soon as I arrived, I heard, breaking news, somebody got shot. So I'm like, breaking news, somebody got shot. Lo and behold, it was Trump. And it was like, what? Okay, so this is interesting. So, you want to wait, because in the real time that we're getting news, sometimes it can be misconstrued. And sometimes it's like everybody wants to know immediately what's going on, but we don't really know the actual facts. So once it started breaking and I start seeing, everybody commenting and making their thoughts be known, I was like, all right, let me wait first before I jump into the mix and say what I think I need to say. After analyzing and looking through everything that I've seen so far, it's just not believable for me. And there's a whole bunch of things that I'm going to get into the show that will, I hope I'm wrong, but it just seems, I'm going to use certain words here that's going to be, quite I guess, the build up for the show. For the release, yeah, it's just too conveniently, and that's one of my words, conveniently timed for this to just come out of the blue, out of nowhere. We had the convention this week, and then we had a VP pick from him this week. I just find it way too conveniently timed for this to happen. The second thing that I find that's Mike mentioned is just the CIA in general. Are you kidding me right now? Like, even like Mike mentioned, sorry, Mr. Wright mentioned my
Thank you,
twin.
sir.
Yes, my deepest apologies about that, twin. Is that I just find it amazing that Hollywood has snipers doing a superb job, more so than the real life CIA snipers can do. I just don't know how or why this person, if you guys haven't seen, because I'm sure everybody might have seen a diagram by now of where the snipers for the CIA was compared to the actual sniper that shot former President Orange 45. It just seems odd to me, and even the former CIAs were like, how did they not realize that a building across the street could be used as a target, space to literally assassinate Trump? Nothing adds up here. Nothing seems to make sense. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I just think a little bit more out of the box, other than twin. It just seems so convenient. Again, the word ding, ding, ding of the night, conveniently timed for all of this to happen. I just hope they do a thorough investigation, because immediately, once, and this is a Trump rally, so, you can't be surprised, is that they all jump to aliens did it, then Obama did it, then it was the Democrats that did it, then it was Oswald that did it, then it went from
Melania.
it's a whole bunch of crap that didn't even make sense. Again, I don't even know how former President Obama's name got into the mix, but this is MAGA crowd. Nothing should be surprising for people. But my thoughts is, again, the word of the definition of the word of the day is conveniently timed. It just seems too conveniently timed for me, but I could be wrong. What do I know? But Mr. Wright, I agree with you. I think this is faker than blood from Hollywood, and I digress.
You seem to know common sense, sir.
All right. So on the panel now, we got MDT. Oh my God, MD20. Political profit amongst men. What's going on, MD?
Mute yourself, MD.
Hey, what's happening, man? Can you hear me? I don't know if it's loud where I'm at. It probably is. I'm broke down right now.
You're good, bro, and I'm sorry you
Yeah,
broke
yeah.
down.
Nah, it's all good. Yeah, I don't deal in conspiracy theory, bro. That just ain't in my. It ain't in me to do that. You know what I mean? So I hear what y'all saying. And it's all plausible. I ain't saying it ain't. But in my heart of hearts, I just can't deal with the conspiracy theory.
I'd like to retort that when you're finished.
Tell you what, do it now.
Do it
I
now?
would like to
Okay.
hear it. I would like to hear it.
Fantastic. I'm glad you would, sir. We have seen the high level of moronicism from the Trump campaign and from the people who are in the Trump party or the MAGA party and the Trump conglomerate. It is not far-fetched to me to believe that these idiots saw a movie and thought, we're not doing as well as we thought we would be doing after the debate. We thought we could have just stuck to our message and got all those Nikki Haley votes. We didn't. So what's the next best thing? Because now they're talking about Project 2025. Somebody leaked it.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the best way to get? Hey, I just saw this movie called insert stupid movie from the 60s here. Let's go with this. And then they did. I don't think it's that deep. It's hard to say conspiracy theory when the people you're thinking about are high-level morons. But I digress. Continue, sir.
Well, I agree. I agree with that.
Oh, I
that
know you do because you have sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I'm saying, for me, looking at the ideology of it all, I just can't do it. And here's why. Look at the age of the person that was the alleged shooter. Well, let's not say alleged, because we know what it is. Look at the age. Look at the skin color. Look at the mannerisms, which is probably most important to me, of this young gentleman. Right. It is a proven track record in terms of people that do stuff like this, and they I guess you could say colloquialisms when it comes to the way they are. And again, I think this is just another example of faded white boy syndrome. That's just me. That's just me. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Oh, you got. Oh, one second, MD. Somebody got music in the background. You're gonna get me copyright.
That's me, man. I told you I'm in a bad spot.
Oh,
I'm in a
okay,
shop.
okay.
They blasting the. Can't do nothing. Hey, take what? Let me go to another spot. Move on, and I'll come back to it.
All right, I'm going to retort you for a second, MD. I'm going to say once again that we're dealing with high-level moronicism.
Yes, we are.
I believe they picked this patsy because they saw that he had donated to the Democrats and that he moved in a feminine type, might be in the alphabet community way, and nobody decided to look up whether he was Republican or not, because that would be an extra step. That would be what people who are dedicated would do, and dedication is not something we put to the MAGA crowd. When it comes to going the extra mile to solidify things, no. They rage really loud, and if it works, they keep going. If it doesn't work, they switch tactics. That's what they do. Nobody decided, nobody went in to do the extra grunt work to figure out, who's this guy been voting for? He's only 20. He's only been able to vote for max 2 years. Let's see what he claims. Let's see what he claimed in school. That's what the CIA or the Secret Service from TV would have done, especially the blacklist. The blacklist dudes would have found out hella information about this kid. But we're talking about MAGA people. MAGA people just said, hey, he looks like a fruitcake. That'll be good enough. I bet those libertarians will love him. That's as far as they
So,
thought.
All
so,
right,
so,
can you still hear the music?
no,
We
you're good, MD. You're good, MD.
Okay.
So
All right,
since,
okay, finish up. My bad.
no, I was gonna. Well, no, you say what you're gonna say because
Nah,
I'm
this
gonna
still
go
your
to
time,
something.
MD.
Yeah.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
All right, well, to be quick, because like I said, I'm walking around. So again, I chalk it up as to it being just another instance of many instances that we've seen, whether it's been Sandy Hook, Parkland, name it. You know what I'm saying? Just another guy that feels betrayed within amongst the supposed animism of what he thinks MAGA is. You know what I'm saying? I think he felt betrayed. This is just me. Like I said, all this is speculative at the end of the day. I ain't saying, what I say is law or anything, or what y'all say may not have validity to it. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is to me what it looks like. Just another lost young white male that got entrenched into a movement and felt betrayed within how it evolved
Mm-hmm.
through its populism. But hey, that's the part of populism that nobody don't get. I'll be discussing this more on Thursday, the truth about the Republican Party, and I'll show the evolution of its ideology and how it has betrayed millions of extreme right wing ideologues. And you can see that, and the proof is in the pudding from night one in the national convention from last night.
Okay. So going with what Mike and Ricardo said, as far as feeling that this is not on the up and up, there's something more, there's something fishy, there's something off.
Oh,
Let's take a look
real
at
quick,
it.
Van Cat, real quick
Yeah.
before you play the video. It's funny that y'all say that. I talked to my mom. She a vote blue no matter who maniac. You know what I'm saying? She a lefty loony. I'm just keep it real with you. She a
No.
lefty loony, and she what she because she shared y'all sentiment. So she said, "Do you?" I was on the phone. We were talking about it. She said, "Do you remember in the beginning of Dark Knight Rises when they did the thing in the airplane and he had his faithful in the
Mm-hmm.
airplane and he told the dude that he got to stay on the airplane to die, so essentially be a martyr." And she tried to point that to. I said, "Hey, ma, I'm not gonna go there with you." You know what I'm saying? But I thought that was funny.
All
Sure.
right. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of.
Your
Go
mom
ahead,
got
Mike. Go
sense,
ahead.
sir. They just saw a bunch of movies and said, what would be the best plan? They
And
watched that. They watched Manchurian Candidate. They watched
mm,
they looked at Oswald. They were like, which one of these would be best? We got to get him in office. By the time they figure out the truth, we'll already be in. They just didn't realize you know what? The MAGA people didn't remember that iPhones were a thing.
Hey, so Venkat, like I said, I missed the beginning of the show. Did y'all talk about the shooting in and of itself? Because I find it exhilarating to and this backs y'all up. I find it exhilarating for him to have that clear of a shot at less than 250. Because again, anybody that knows any type of AR training, you want to be proficient at 250.
Hello.
My sons can hit a target at 250, a head shaped target at 250 right now.
mm-hmm.
So I find that either Trump is the luckiest dude in the world,
Bro,
or
weak
go ahead.
ass Kev from Monday show who's in the chat could hit it from 250.
I
Come on,
mean,
bro.
I, I mean, you get 10 minutes of training with an AR. That's why America loves the AR, because it's a simple, accurate point and shoot gun. That's what it is.
Facts.
Americans don't like stuff that's
Complex.
complex. That'll be the right word. They don't like that. That's why they don't like the AK. They don't like the AK because the charger handle on the other side. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's a simple gun to shoot, like real simple.
Very.
If you get proficient, which he was according to the reports, because he said he was in a rifle club.
Oh, that's even worse. I didn't even hear that.
I didn't hear that part either.
Yeah, he was in a rifle club.
Oh, so
So
man, if y'all
so
don't get that out of
obviously
here,
he was proficient. You know, he had been a avid gun enthusiast from high school. All the people that I saw that was interviewed said it. You know what I'm saying? That's all he used to talk about was guns. So
And that he was
obviously he was
alone.
proficient. Say
Man,
what?
that's
No, that he's also a loner. So he fits that whole profile of, he was a kid that didn't really had that much friends, and he was a loner, and he didn't hang out with a huge group of people, and he was very quiet, and it just seems like. And again, I know you don't believe in conspiracy theories, neither do I, MD. But I just find it too conveniently timed. I'm just gonna throw that out there. What are the odds that you would just come up with that on a convenient week, which was the Republican, I guess, whatever convention they were having, to then pick the VP at the same length and breadth? I just don't think the MAGA crowd people think things through that like how we think they do. But I digress. I just find it too conveniently timed. And again, this is the same group of people, lest we forget, that did plagiarize the former first lady speech,
Very
like
true. Very
word
true.
for word. And I'm like, you guys could have literally changed the words. Like, if you really wanted to do the speech some justice, you could have changed the words. It's verbatim, word for word. I'm like, who the hell do you guys have running your campaigns that they're that dumb to think we would not have known that we have accessibility to certain videos, to certain things that would link whatever you were doing to her speech? It's this.
If
Who is they though,
Michelle
Ricardo?
Obama would have said my black skin in the speech, Melania would have probably said my black skin in the speech.
So you keep saying they though, Ricardo. What do you mean by they? I get be more detail in who you're mentioning. Because I mean I think the consensus is it ain't Trump. He ain't coming up with these elaborate diabolical schemes. So who is we?
Nah, I don't think it's Trump.
I mean, Trump didn't do the deep fakes, but somebody did it.
But somebody's doing it. There's clearly doing it in the background. I mean, we've seen that one that just went to jail last week for him. I can't remember his damn name. That's a part of that damn website, Breitbart.
Steve Bannon.
Bannon. He has people that, again, he's basically the puppeteer to all these people wanting to have things done. So it doesn't surprise me. He's, again, as much as he goes on and tout himself as one of the smartest presidents in the world, I was one of the geniuses, he's not that smart. It's the people behind him that are usually doing the upper hand work that we think will be like, okay, how did he come up with that? It's not him. It's the people in the background. So like the Bannons and the other moron that like do all the dirty work, it's them. Those are the people that scare me. And when you hear me say I don't want him to be president, it's not because he, I mean, we've seen him do The Apprentice, we've seen him do certain things. He's just not that type of person that think things through thoroughly. He just used people's, like, he has like all these people that do the dirty work for him or do the easy work for him, and then he comes in and saves the day. That's
Take all the credit.
I mean, it's his MO 101. Like, nothing surprises me with him because this stuff we've seen before from the 80s until now. So I don't know why people are going, oh, that's not true. He's not that smart. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Now, does he have some kind of like proficient smartness in him? I wouldn't say he doesn't, but is he like a genius, like Einstein, 100% smart? Like, no, he's not. I'm sorry, no.
Okay, so we got Kevin the Maker on the panel here. Kev, what's up with your views on this Trump situation?
Hold on, before Kev, please let me slide one thing in, please, because you're gonna talk and I'm gonna get mad and I'm gonna lose all my train of thought. MD,
go ahead.
MD,
I forgot to plug in my mic. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. MD, stop acting like this ain't normal because you lived through W. You know W didn't think of anything intelligent. You know that. You know that was all Hams Remfield or whatever his name is. That was all the backers and the hangers on. You know W didn't have any thoughts for himself. So it's not hard for you to understand who's making up the
But I
riddle.
agree with that. I agree with that. I just wanted Ricardo to identify. That's all.
All right. So hold on one second. So we're gonna go to the actual video, but before we go, we just want to explore what we're talking about here as far as the fake setup, planned aspect of how people feel about it, because it's a real legitimate thing that people are looking at, and even me myself, I have my suspects about this. So we're gonna go to this quick video. Then the first one up is gonna be Kevin. We'll get Kevin on there. Okay, so we'll see you on the other end.
You want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
More what happened.
What can I say?
Rachel Scott Forrest, thank you.
I predicted this yesterday.
Quickly before I let you go here.
I predicted this. I knew it. I felt it in my spirit. Something finna go down. Weird. It's finna be political too. And that happened. That's what I was talking about yesterday on my story. I'm batting 1,000 with motherfucking predictions. I just know. DJ Quick for president. How about that? Yeah, I know everything.
That shit was more staged than a Tyler Perry production of Medea Runs for President. I lived in Harlem long enough to know that gunshots do not sound like making popcorn on the stove. Pop, pop, pop. Where'd the blood come from? So in theater, in movies, they have what's called blood pellets. They even, people use them in Halloween. It's basically a pellet of fake blood that's in your mouth, and when you crush it, the blood comes out. To be frank, Small Hands Trump would not respond by raising his fist in the air triumphantly were an actual attempt made on his life. This was, I believe, done to try to show his strength counter to Biden's fragility. Oh my God. Molly, you in danger, girl.
We have breaking news. If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Former President Donald Trump, soon to be new president of the United States of America. This is guaranteed he's gonna win. Trump got up like Tupac got up when he got shot. And we gonna have to change his name to Trump. Pac Trump. This motherfucker got up pumping his fist. I mean, it was beautifully staged. I don't know, it was just too perfect. He just turned and nicked his ear, and then he might have had a little blood packet in his hand and just, f*** them motherfuckers. Y'all read his lip? That's what he's saying. F*** them motherfuckers. John Wayne ain't got shit on Donald Trump. 2 Trump, 50 Trump. presidency is in the bag. The whole world's a stage, so, you just never know. 2 people are conveniently dead with no names. Shooter's dead, no name. I mean, I don't know who's doing the reporting, but, y'all need to do a little digging and give us some names of the motherfuckers that are shot, the shooter. My condolences going out to the family members of those deceased, if they are deceased.
Yo, what up, your boy Aries Spears here. Listen, man, I am in no way, shape, or form a Trump fan. But some of y'all gotta knock it off with this conspiracy theory shit. It was staged. It was staged. Really? So that blood was Tabasco sauce on his face? January 6th was staged. People died on January 6th. Was that part of the program? The Will Smith Chris Rock thing was staged, not according to Chris Rock. If it was real, the shooter wouldn't have missed. Reagan got shot and survived. Was that staged too? Shit gets real. Period. Stop thinking everything is a goddamn conspiracy. DM me for the link to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit Spearsburg Pod. Hit like and subscribe. It was staged.
All right. There we go. All right. So let's pick this up now with Kevin. Kevin, your thoughts here.
First off, Wagwan brethren. What's up?
You are
Van
not
Cat? I don't think we ever
Jamaican.
met. But yeah, what's up, guys? Okay, so I'm gonna give you some quick thoughts because I have a pretty long thought process about it. So I have 3 things going on in my head with this situation. So one I think is real, but I think there's some negligence there because I'm seeing videos of like the Secret Service and like how the area is not there's not a lot of security there, so it would give ample time for someone to actually do something if they wanted to. But to me, I think that's just way too convenient. So what I really think is either it's actually allegedly staged. Allegedly, I'm not a professor, I'm not an expert. You might as well call me a conspiracy theorist, but yeah, I think it might be staged. Either staged as in it might be a way to win the election, even though I don't feel like that's going to be a reason to, because after the debate, it's like we see how senile Biden is. So like, it's like, why would you even have to do that? It seemed like you already won the election, but so there's that. But what I really think it's a scenario where he's being set up to either be taken out or to be seen as the hero, the guy who overcomes all the scrutiny, all the criticism. Because if you guys have noticed, the media, they're always talking about how bad Trump is, like how he's a threat to democracy and this and that and whatnot. And a lot of the there's some background noise. A lot of the critics when it comes to the media, like CNN or MSNBC, would be on Biden's side, but now those channels are criticizing Biden to make Trump look good. So it's like, okay, it seems like there's a lot of collusion to make him seem like he's the anti-hero at the end of the day to win the election, and then something big is going to happen, like I don't know, like the stock market is going to crash, something. So that's my initial thoughts.
All right. Let's go back to MD now. MD, thoughts?
Yeah. I thought Aries Spears was on point. I think he said it best because he went to both sides of it. I mean, you just can't. Hold on. Give me a sec. God damn it. Yeah, it's like, man, one thing will start, then they'll turn it up, then turn it back down. Can you hear me now?
It's the country music in the background.
Yeah, I want to hear that shit. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I rock with Aries Spears on that. We got to cut it out at the end of the day. The event happened, and we can't be distracted from the event. I mean, we still got a campaign well, we don't, but we still have a disinformation war to maintain. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the biggest issue for me. You know what I'm saying? Some may say this was Trump playing all along to put the media focus back on him. Some people say that. You know what I'm saying? Even in a stark time like with the debate, Trump always say, like all publicity is good publicity. So even though they was railing on Biden, the focus was still on him. Trump didn't like that. So from that aspect, I get it. But again, you don't want to see nobody die. You don't want to, downplay the event that took place. But at the same time, you don't want to take away what need to be said, and that's Trump is a fascist, a liar, and he need to be stopped at all costs. We don't want him to die. We just don't want him to have no type of political future, and that's just a fact. So the media had dropped the ball hell for weeks now. Lester Holt dropped the ball yesterday. He dropped it, and in many events, Biden made him look foolish. So this may be part of the grand scheme. Again, let's cut it out. It happened. We can speculate all day, but at the end of the day, let's push forward with moving, talking about Project 2025. Let's push forward talking about these Supreme Court decisions, because that's what really matters. If Trump would have gotten knocked or not, it wouldn't have stopped nothing on the Republican Party side, because the plan still rolled. But hey, I digress.
All right. So, Mike, what did you think here about some of the things that some people are saying here, as that are kind of like matching what you're trying to say here?
Mr. Right here. First and foremost, I don't listen to anything Ari Spears has to say. Any moron that goes on a popular podcast drunk and gets halfway beat up because he can't stop touching people, I don't listen to. He's been a moron for a while. He basically just spits whatever he thinks without thinking. And that sounds kind of oxymoronic, but he just says the first thing that pops up without any thought behind it. So I don't listen to nothing he says. Sadly, I could say the same thing about Amanda Seals, but at least it looks like she put some thought into what she was going to say rather than just walked out and just spewed some nonsense, knowing that people listen to what you have to say, so you have to take a thought. I'm just some regular degular moron, but I know there are people that listen to me, so I make sure I do some thought and research before I come on here and run my mouth. Or if I don't believe I have anything to say that will assist or get someone to understand better, I don't come. The people on this show who are on the panel right now will tell you how hard it is to get me up here, because I don't, if I don't think I have something to add, I won't come, because I respect the viewer. These people are just spewing nonsense because they have a platform. That is what I believe Ari Spears is doing, and that's why I don't listen to him. I used to like him so much since he's been doing comedy since he was 16. He's a moron now. So to hell with him. That's on one thing. On the other side, you can't, none of us here has ever worked in Hollywood, right? And I find it hilarious that people are trying to tell people who worked in Hollywood what Hollywood stuff looks like. If a Hollywood person comes to me and says that looks like a blood packet, I'm going to believe them. If a person who watches wrestling, like a lot of people on this panel and some people in the chat do, if our immediate thoughts, and people here can tell you, my immediate thought was Hogan in Japan or Ric Flair. My immediate thought was come on, man. That man was sliced. I've never seen a bullet hit it. Oh, and this is real. And see, audience, they're laughing because they agree with me.
No,
you see what I'm saying?
That's a bad take, Mike. Bad take.
No, it's not. And I'm gonna tell you this.
Take.
As a gentleman,
Allegedly.
I'm done with you. As a gentleman who knows what bullets do to flesh, and as a gentleman as gentlemen who watched the Mike Tyson Holyfield fight and saw what a bite did, you telling me a bullet did less damage? You telling me this man's ear was shot with a bullet? Don't get me wrong. I thought the magic bullet stopped with JFK, where it's not like he got Will Smith or Martin ears. His ears ain't hanging off his head. but it went right by his noggin and just clipped his ear top.
Yeah, you see,
That's
Mike,
nuts.
I'm saying, I'm saying this though, Mike.
Go
I
ahead.
don't. It's of no importance to what's going. You see this is going to be the bulk of the show today, and it stops us from talking about what's what. Van Cat got spooked, and thinking a certain situation was going to manifest after the debate. Now, after the quote unquote assassination attempt, he done dug himself in, which is fine. I knew this was going to happen, and
Oh,
that's
wait a
cool.
minute. How did I get spooked?
Again, again, like I'm saying, this very conversation that we're having right now is a testament to everything that's wrong with what happened on Saturday. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have a conversation. Of course we should. It's a talk of the town right now. Everybody, of course. But in the sense of it being a distraction from the policy,
right,
is what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna put nothing into if he bladed or not, whatever. That'll come out later on. I'm assuming. I don't know. But
See,
but in any event, it's gonna be the distraction, and ultimately, I think a lot of people think that's what Trump wants.
but that, but
see,
but that's what I'm seeing though, sir, Mr. Wright. Is that's what I said in the chat in the beginning. This is all a ruse. This is something this is the playbook of it all. Like you were saying that you don't believe in the conspiracy theories, which is fine. But if it walks like a duck, MD, and it talks like a duck, is it not a duck? That's the point that we're trying to say. Like it's a distraction, it's a ruse. This is all a playbook from the MAGA, what I will call the MAGAlites, which are the people that are the extreme ones that are at the top that do the puppeteering to pull Trump's strings along. So his whole is to be, I'm in the forefront. I'm the one that's being gonna call the shots. But really, is he really calling the shots though? I don't think so. I think it's the people like the Bannons, the people that are like the extreme far out that are like, hey, we want these things to be implemented, but guess what? You're gonna be the puppeteer. You're gonna go out there and be in front of the masses. You're gonna ride up the rallies and do all of that. But at the end of the day, we are the ones that are calling the shots. And this is why you saw Bannon was so pissed, because he was like, oh, I'm not a part of the inner circle no more. I don't do. And it's like, oh, once you clip one of them, it's like, oh, they feel some type of way, which is always going to be the case because you're not in the inner circle no more. But I've always said this, it's all a ruse. It's all for show, and it's a distraction. This is why you hear me keep saying, I'm going to grab the popcorn, because I knew this was going to be one of the foretelling things. If you all know history well, this has been played before. And I'm not going to repeat it why, but this is just a playbook from out of history. It's very clear cut, but I digress. I'm sorry, MD,
all right.
but yeah, I just had to say that point.
Don't apologize,
So-
MD. It was my time. So
sorry, Mr. Wright.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I will say this: Mr. MD has seemingly forgotten what his point was during the debate. Trump has no policies. There's never been a policy. There's nothing to debate. That's the point of this. He gave no substance, so there must be fluff. And if we don't attack the fluff is going to take over the narrative. There is no policy to debate. We watched the whole debate where all he said was, "I'm Trump." You don't want old man Biden. That was literally the crux of everything he said. I'm not Biden, so you should vote for me. And Biden was like, well, my policy this and my policy, huh? What? Oh, my policy this, my policy. But at least he had something. Trump has had and has nothing. That's why he went this way. And if we don't destroy it, then his people will continue to move it forward. I say it once again, I say it every single time we talk about him. There was never a term called alternative facts. They made it up. If it's called lying, they made it up, and now it's in the lexicon of politics and pop culture, where alternative facts is an actual thing because nobody chastised it and beat it down. That will be the exact same thing that this is. We'll stand around and go, well, Trump got shot because they were trying to take him out. They didn't like the freedom he was trying to bring. And one day, when we don't shoot that down, that'll become the narrative. That'll become the thing we have to fight against. It'll be like Obama's back in office, And instead of having to start in the middle where we're trying to find the mandate, we're gonna have to give up the mandate and start all the way back and let's just try to get insurance to be a little lighter instead of going for the single person option. That's what
Single
we're doing.
payer.
They're giving up ground. You cannot give up ground. You must stand on bullshit, show that it's bullshit, pee on the bullshit, and then sweep it out the damn way and go back to the facts. If you don't step on their bullshit, they will make their bullshit last. Just like everybody knows if I go, we got them, everybody knows what that means. We didn't get them. We didn't get anything, but that thing exists. Everybody remembers W on the freaking whatever that's the you know everybody remembers him on the fucking on the boat because you know what I'm saying, they look at
Mission
it like,
accomplished.
oh, say it
Mission
again.
accomplished.
Yes, everybody knows mission accomplished because we didn't shoot it down. We knew you can't have a mission accomplished if we still shooting. That don't make no sense. Everybody, we didn't stand up when they said, oh, it's Obamacare. No, it's not. It's the Affordable Care Act. Them idiots started calling it the Obamacare too. Because if you don't stand and step on bullshit, bullshit becomes the talk. Bullshit becomes regular. Why am I yelling? I don't know why I'm yelling. I'm sorry.
That's a great point. It's a great point you're making there.
Yep.
And for people who are listening, it's a great point means Mike is right. They just don't like to say it. You see the tag, Mike is right, and that's why I'm Mr. Right. I'm gonna stop talking while I am right. Go ahead, continue, sir.
All right, so let's actually. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So what I'm wondering, okay, so real quick, does everybody feel like the event was fake?
I can't speculate that.
Yeah,
I don't have enough information to do so.
Okay.
No, I need your definition of what do you mean the event was fake.
Okay, I'm sorry. Does everybody feel like it was like a ploy to make him seem good to win the election, for example?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
you guys might be half right and half wrong. I think that it's a really real thing that happened, and in the middle of the moment, he did that lame ass Black Power fist, which I don't know why people ain't dumping on that. This
which is a security failure, a failure.
I mean, he took the time out of a real shooting that happened to do some political ploy, and that right there is what should be panned heavy.
Hey, do yourself a favor. Go watch the video of the Reagan shoot. They basically throw Reagan in back into they throw him.
That's what I wanted. Oh my God, thank you. This is my problem. If you watch the Trump video, you don't see it. Dude, Hollywood has better secret security. This man Trump told Secret Service, he told them, move out the way. I need to get my shoes on.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if you watch Cops, white people always lose their shoes in every episode. I don't know why that's a thing, but it happens. Okay, so at this point,
well, one sec. I actually had a question.
So at this point, let's go to the main video here, the actual shooting. I have different angles and information on it. So let's get into that now, the actual main chunk of it, and then we'll all have our viewpoints on this.
You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you? Because these teleprompters are so damn boring, I try and explain them. Oh, it is? Wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time. My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
you. Ready? Move. Up. Move. Go. Up. Hawkeye's here. Hawkeye's here. Moving to the stair. Stair, get ready. Stair, get ready. We ready? Down. Shooters down. Are we good? Shooters down. Shooters down. Are we good to move? Shooters down. We're good to move. We're clear. We're clear. Let's move. We're clear.
Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we got to move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay. Watch out.
One shot right here, Mike. One shot right here. The guy who shot.
Okay, we are watching live at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where former President Trump was speaking on the stage. There has been some kind of disturbance that clearly sets law enforcement and Secret Service into motion, immediately jumping around the former president in a protective mode. The crowd has been screaming. They are standing by. You can hear some voices there saying, "Are we ready to go? Are we ready to go?" We are looking at President Trump. This does not look good. I'm going to be honest with you. From what we can see right here, it looks like they are attempting to move him out, that he may have been injured. He is holding up his arm. He is pumping his fist, but clearly Secret Service wants to get him out of this situation.
A reverse angle here that shows Donald Trump actually speaking at the podium, and then we see one of those Secret Service detail guards on a rooftop firing back towards that gunfire. Have a look.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Wow. Now, we're also just learning that the Associated Press is reporting that an AR-style rifle has now also been found at this scene. We understand it was found outside, again, the perimeter of this event today. But those pictures there, quite shocking. It shows the seconds in which the Secret Service detail who were there, and there was a huge detail, they follow a former president around, and they are stationed on those rooftops around. They have responded in seconds, guys. They're quite a remarkable angle to what has transpired.
You know, David, that's extraordinary because that's happening, reacting in milliseconds there. We'll keep a look at this vision, but just as we're talking, we're being told right now that he has definitely left the hospital as well, David.
Yes, we've just heard that in the past couple of seconds. In fact, his motorcade has been seen leaving.
The FBI is calling the July 13th shooting at a Trump rally in Pennsylvania an assassination attempt. The Bureau is investigating the incident, in which a gunman opened fire on the rally stage in the town of Butler.
I'm at the Trump rally and somebody just started shooting. What just happened? Oh my God.
One witness told CBS News,
he started shooting.
bow, 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 bow. About 4 to 5 shots rang out.
CBS News congressional correspondent Scott McFarland describes what he saw.
It was uniquely jarring. Again, it had that same sound of fireworks, that same tone, that same volume, and that same rapidity. A series of about 8 to 10 of those. It took just a few moments, though, for us to realize it was something much more sinister than that. There would be no place for fireworks at an event like this.
Witnesses in the crowd shared what they experienced.
Sounded like there were fireworks, and everybody kind of hesitated, like, what's happening? Before Trump, like, swatted his ear, you could see that he actually had that he dropped, and that's when everybody had the initial reaction to drop to the ground, and it was just like people were just on top of each other. Like, she was getting buried, like, jumped on top of her. And so it was crazy.
One attendee was killed and 2 others were critically injured, and Trump said a bullet pierced the upper part of his right ear. The Secret Service swarmed the stage, covering Trump, and quickly removed him from the scene. A witness told the BBC what happened to the shooter.
Did you see, I mean, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Authorities say the shooter was a 20-year-old named Thomas Allen Crooks, a resident of nearby Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Crooks' home was raided as the FBI works to learn more about his motives.
He was a high school student when he appeared in an ad for an investment company. We found this video on his high school Facebook page explaining computer coding to another student.
The signal is decreasing.
Crooks' high school years were troubled. He was rejected by the school rifle team. Crooks' aim was comically bad, according to one report.
He was in the same homeroom as me.
Former classmate Sarah D'Angelo says Crooks studied the assassination of President Kennedy in honors American history class.
You kind of had to make your own conspiracy theory about where the shooter was and, like how you thought it was done.
He was also bullied at school and sat by himself, friendless, in the cafeteria at lunch.
Based on the way he dressed, I mean, you know how kids are nowadays. If you don't fit in with the clique, they're going to come after you. And that's kind of like how he was. Like, he would sit by himself, play games on his computer.
Stop. This video shows Crooks goofing around with other students. Kohler says Crooks wore an anti-COVID mask long after they were required.
Thomas Crooks.
This is Crooks' 2022 high school graduation. He graduated community college in May with an associate's degree in engineering science. He found work as a dietary aide at a nursing home after passing a background check. The motive for firing at Trump remains a mystery. Crooks was a registered Republican, but donated $15 to a progressive group. When 20-year-old Crooks was taken down by a Secret Service sniper,
leaders from across the political spectrum condemned political violence and sent well wishes to Trump. President Biden says he spoke to Trump after the incident and condemned political violence.
Everybody must condemn it. Everybody.
The Biden campaign pulled its political ads in the wake of the incident.
All right. There we go. So we'll pick up the conversation on that. We'll go back to Kevin. Kevin, what's your thoughts here on what we saw? By seeing it again, did you pick up anything else new?
I just think it's just too convenient. It's too convenient, man. And a little bit of misinformation. So the kid was donating to a Democratic Party. I don't know why they said whatever they said, but
progressive is Democratic.
Well, no, hold on, wait a minute. That's also misinformation because that hasn't been confirmed. They learned later that it was a person of the same name who was like damn near 70 that donated the same amount of money to that same PAC.
Man, it was $15. Who cares?
Well, it
matters.
really don't matter if it's $1. What matters is the way the media uses it as a tool to propagate some type of political message. See, that's the part you don't get, Mike.
Oh no, I get it.
If you understand the masses are asses, that's wholly important.
Sir,
agreed.
What I'm saying is you guys shouldn't matter to you. I am the person on here. Okay, first of all, the Ric Flair blood thing, that is hilarious. Is that my twin? No, who's that?
I think they're
I
trading.
have no idea who it is.
No
Man,
idea.
that's hilarious. I just
Yeah, I
looked
think
up and
that's
saw
trading.
Ric Flair bleeding. That's hilarious. I'm sorry. Wow.
Yeah, I
My
don't know if
bad.
it's Trevor, but if it's Trevor, he has the ability to come on.
I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that. Sir, I come on here every week and I tell you the American public are a bunch of lemmings. Okay? So once again, if we don't squash out or stomp out these foolish talking points, they're gonna run with them. It don't matter. I've given racist money before. Does that mean I want the KKK to be to stand up and rise
Sounds
again?
very suspicious.
Yeah, that's right. Because the person that comes on here and talks about white supremacy every single week.
Not the flaming Elmo.
Wow.
The difference is, Mike, that your local news didn't report on it. That's the
Oh
difference.
no. I get that. I'm saying us. You're doing what women do. And I'm not calling you a woman. Where women because they're women, they support other women. I don't want to support if I'm a dude and there's an F-boy, I don't support his F-boyosity. I'm saying we're wise enough to know that was some bull crap. So we need to step on it and move past it and not give the same way you don't want to give this the light of day. And I say we have to give it the light of day. I guess you're doing the exact opposite because I don't want to give that he gave 50, if he even gave $15 to Democrat. He was a registered Republican.
Yeah, he was. That's the most important point.
That's what's important. He was a registered Republican. I don't
Right,
care
but
what
he was. I forgot how they said it, but I think they said he was Democratic and then he was Republican when he registered Republican when he turned 20.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Sir, he was only allowed to vote for 2 years. He couldn't have did all this in
Again,
2
the
years.
fact of the matter is,
Yeah, I think it sounds weird. Yeah,
there is no supporting evidence suggesting that
Yo,
he
MD's my
donated
favorite.
any Democratic PAC. It ain't no evidence showing that at all.
I love MD.
It's a tool being used by the media to propagate a story. Again, I disagree wholeheartedly with what Mike just said. I don't care if it was 50. I don't care if it was 50 Cent. The fact that the media is reporting on it is dangerous to the rhetoric.
Oh, I agree with that.
No, we agree with that. We didn't.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you. We need to stomp it out.
You can't move past it. You can't do it.
What are you talking about? I literally said we need to stomp it out. That's what you don't be listening. I think you like.
I heard exactly
you just
what
like
you said,
to say
Mike.
out. You don't
You
agree with me.
Initially, you said, "Who cares?" That's what you said initially.
Yes,
then
to
you
us.
said,
I said to us.
He said to the group.
Shut up, Kevin. I said to us.
The group of us that are on the panel is
yes.
But to the regular Joe Schmoes that are out there, that's the point that he's trying to get. Like this, we at Tape Fist Politics know better. Like there's no way you could tell me that we don't know. Again, with the flip Elmo.
He's so stupid.
But it's and I'm sorry to like interject here, but it's one of those things where MD, it's like not the cringe smile from DeSantis. It's one of those things where we're like yeah, but so to bring up Kev's point, like Kev, you do realize that the same could be said about Donald Trump. Like he was a registered Democrat before, right? Before he switched to becoming a Republican. And where the point I always bring up to MD is that
but that's wrong again. That's wrong.
I mean, he did.
I did have a point before I was interrupted.
First of all, you can't register
you weren't interrupted. It was my
anything
turn.
until you're 18. You can't do nothing until you're 18.
Okay.
So that's wrong. They said allegedly when he made the donation he was 17. Again, another false claim. There's no evidence of that. So he wasn't registered as a Democrat at no point in time. He wasn't a Democrat. In fact, if you look at the whole report that Van Cat just played, they said back in 2016 he had on Trump t-shirts and putting Trump signs in the yard. So you got to get the full body of the argument before you can make that claim, Ricardo. You just got to do it.
So we're gonna put a disclaimer. Then we're gonna say it is alleged that he was either he donated or he was before. Like we need the concrete facts from the media. We're just going by what you've heard, MD, which we're not discounting, but we're just gonna get the disclaimer out there. So we're just gonna put that on there because you do have a good point that we don't really know for sure, but it is alleged. But if we're gonna go by that same narrative, we have to put that out there as well, like because Kev did bring up the point. If we're gonna go by that, you can't say people can't flip or change their views. They are allowed to. Like, you could be a Republican one day and switch to become a Democrat, and you can also do the same. Now, do I believe in that narrative? Absolutely not. Because I myself have said this multiple times. I believe I'm more conservative than Trump, but I digress. So I just want to put that out there because I've heard that same narrative the whole day yesterday, and I'm like, but what difference does it make? He's allowed. That's the beauty of this country. You're allowed to switch whenever you feel like. Or if you decide, hey, the party is not for what I stand for anymore, I might as well just move over. Now, again, do I believe in that whole switcheroo thing? Once you're conservative, you're conservative, or once you're liberal, you're liberal. Now, are you allowed to switch it on account of you're upset if you're a black person, or if you're upset that you are so and so? Or absolutely, you could change because the country that you live in says you're allowed to. Now, in other countries, you probably would be like killed or, but we have that liberty of doing that here. But I just want to throw that out there because Kevin is not the only person I've heard that with. And I just want to say you're allowed to change your political views if you feel it is advantageous to do so.
Man, don't listen to nothing Kevin says.
So we got two additional people on the panel. We got Patrick T. What's going on, Patrick T?
What's going on, man? How's it going?
All right.
Patrick, don't you owe me money?
Say that again?
Don't you owe me money?
I owe you money?
Yeah, like $25.32.
No, I doubt it.
All right.
Hey, that man
We'll talk
doubt
after
it.
the show. We'll talk after the show.
All right. So, Patrick, what is your take here on this whole situation with Trump and the shooting?
It's the fakest and the phoniest thing I've ever seen. And beside those people that were around the stage, I don't believe that it was another Secret Service agent there. I do this for a living, and I protect federal judges. And when we go somewhere with a federal judge and he's protecting or he's giving a speech, we don't, every rooftop, every elevated point is secured for 500 meters. Now, somehow, with the Secret Service there, this guy got up on the only elevated point. That building was the only elevated point. Somehow, he got up on the elevated point, 100 meters away from an ex-president. No way. No way the Secret Service would allow that. No way.
Mr.
And
Patrick,
then, I'm listening.
I would like to ask another person on the panel a question. Just give me 1 minute. Kevin,
Okay.
Did somebody else say this to you? The exact thing that this man is saying? Didn't somebody else say this exact words to you?
I don't recall.
Oh, I wouldn't recall either.
Yeah,
Trevor was there.
I don't put no much stock into that either because Secret Service is a detail. Secret Service issues local police to do that job. So yeah, it was it was a total failure all around. I'm not saying that it wasn't, but I think we're misconstruing whose job it was to do what. Because those snipers that were on the roof weren't Secret Service. You know that, right?
I'm misconstruing that no jobs got done.
I agree with that.
It is impossible for there to be a failure on so many different planes at the exact specific time.
I agree with that part. Okay, I agree with that.
That's why, in the words of my twin, conveniently timed. Go ahead, Mr. Patrick.
Well, no, absolutely not. Before a president or ex-president goes somewhere, there's an advanced team of Secret Service that goes there.
That's not
and
true.
They lock,
that's not true.
They,
that's not true at all.
You're gonna tell you can't tell me. This is my job.
In detail. The director of the Secret Service explained it in detail already. That's the director of the Secret Service.
Hey, he's a politician. He's a politician. If he's a director,
is not. She is
he's
not.
A politician. She's a director.
That when they go on events, they use state and local police to canvass outside of the area. She said 800 yards. She said 800 yards in the perimeter. The detail of the Secret Service is the only unit that's there. That's what she said.
Now let me explain this. Now I said that we lock down The maximum effective range of an M16 is 800 yards. That's the maximum effective range of an M16. But we locked down every roof and every elevated building at 500 yards for a judge. Now, I'm sure they probably do it for the president or ex-president, but we lock down those ladders. They cover those ladders. They have someone on the roof. Is nobody's going to get on the roof 100 yards to an ex-president or the current president.
Okay,
And
cool. You
every
work for a
president
state
have an
agency, right?
advanced team.
You work for a state agency, right?
No, I work for a federal agency.
Okay, you work for a
And
federal agency.
yeah,
So you saying that about you with like U.S. district judges stuff like that?
district judges.
Okay, all right. Like I said
That's
again,
just
that
that's
ain't
just
my.
a district judge, not a federal, not a president,
Okay,
not even a
I'm not.
president.
I can't argue that because I'm not looking at that. But we talking about Secret Service. You, sir, are not Secret Service. Secret Service is a whole entire another entity. So what I'm saying is, according to the director of the Secret Service, she said that they use state and local agencies to secure the perimeter. All they do for former presidents and immediate family is detail. That's it. That's what she said.
They don't do uh, detail for the new candidate for president. The new candidate for president, which Trump is, gets full Secret Service protection.
He
And
get
what
full
I'm
Secret
saying
Service
is the
protection for
scandal
life.
is that Secret Service wasn't there. It's no way they were there. Except for that detail that was around the people, there was no Secret Service there. And he should have been. But that's why I say it's fake and it's phony, because the only way he could have got that access is if someone let him. And this is what we call in the security industry a Jim Bob. A Jim Bob is when they
Exactly.
send someone that's gullible, that isn't too bright, and they say, here's a stick of dynamite and go throw it in that building. So the people that's behind it will have hands off. And this is a Jim Bob situation. The people on that roof, you're exactly right. Those guys weren't Secret Service. They didn't use the rifle Secret Service used. They didn't have the uniforms that Secret Service used. So I believe that. But what I'm saying is this is fake. They knew that guy. That guy was blind as a bat. He had a Roman forehead. And they said, hey, what I believe happened was they say, hey, help the president win, and we're gonna take care of you. And he went out there and they knew it, whatever he's aiming at, he's not gonna hit. And so when that first shot ran off, oh, another thing, Secret Service are trained to counter sniper any shot in a second after it's shot. Is no way you're gonna get 5 shots off with Secret Service agents out there. That is the standard of counter sniping of the Secret Service. 1 second, and that threat is put down. So it's fake and it's phony. And what everything is adding up is that new guy that Trump added to his new
JD
advisor that's
Vance.
supposed to help him recruit black people. When he had Chef G, this is a part of that plan to recruit black people because they think that Trump will get street cred about getting shot at.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what they
Bro,
think.
the 50 Cent idea?
That's what they think. He's getting shot. Exactly.
Yeah, he
Now,
was
another thing, an M16 is the worst rifle you can get shot at with. It's absolutely, I won't even own one. I own an AK. I wouldn't own an M16. It is absolutely the worst thing you can get shot with, except for maybe a 50 cal. But, but you don't get shot in the ear with an M16 and it don't pull half of your face off.
Thank you.
It's,
Oh my God.
that's bullcrap. What Trump did was Trump pulled the Ric Flair when he went, because they went and showed the tape when his hand,
and you
when he went down, he cut his ear. It's gonna come out. You don't get.
Van Cat, I'm in my video Thursday. I'm gonna have to do a ballistic breakdown of what a 5.56 round do. I'm just have to do it. I ain't got no choice now.
A lot of people are
It's
saying Nature Boy
nothing
right now.
worse. It's nothing worse than a 5.56. It's, I tell you, in Iraq, it's terrible. It's terrible. When you want to shut somebody off, they shut off when you get hit by a 5.56. It's worse than an
I
AK.
agree with that.
It's
I
worse
agree.
than it's worse than a 380. It's worse than a 30. It's the worst thing you can get hit with. And in no way in the world he got shot in the ear. And number one, they
I don't
would
think I
take
need to be here
they
anymore.
would
I
take
think
a
I'm about to leave.
GSW resident of his ear to convict the person. I don't even believe those snipers on the roof shot. It's no proof that the snipers on the roof even shot at somebody.
Well,
Yeah.
hold on now. Hold on.
Thank you,
We
sir.
just saw the video of them
I didn't see
shooting.
nobody shoot. I
No,
seen
I
them
saw no
We
react
did
to a
recoil.
see the
shot.
video.
I saw no
I
Trevor,
didn't
you're
recoil.
gonna
see
wake up in
him
the morning,
shoot
your
no
channel gonna be
rifle.
gone. It's gonna be
I
gone.
didn't see no recoil from that big
That
long
gun,
gun.
I seen him move the gun, and then
Thank
that
you.
lady in white, the one that gave the signal with that white thing on, she wasn't scared.
Well, you guys are sounding like QAnon now. I
Well,
can't.
well, I mean,
Hey,
it's what
blue
happened.
or non?
I
Blue or
can't
non?
go that deep into that barrel,
It's
man.
what
Nah.
happened. The lady with the white, she was ready. And then, here's the kicker. When Trump went down, and they gathered around him, they set it up for it to look like the Iwo Jima photo when they were
That's
walking
what
off.
oh my God.
They set it up just for
Mike.
All right, hold on. Patrick, I had to mute you. I had to mute you because I can't lose my channel for this. I
Crank up
can't.
the X
I
File
can't.
channel.
Yeah,
Crank it up.
I can't. We getting too deep in the weeds here. I'm glad though that you finally came on a panel. Now I know that you're a real human being, so I do appreciate that. The only thing I do want to say is the reason the show isn't streaming on Twitter is because I now have to pay
What the
to stream
Yeah,
it on
they
Twitter.
started
that's
that.
what it said when I came on today. It said some message like that.
Yeah, you got to be premium now to do that.
That's foolishness, man. That's ridiculous.
That's trickle down. That's trickle down capitalism from Elon Musk to Trump.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, that's absolute ridiculous. But
It's
all right,
He need that money to pay Trump that $45 million a month that he's supposed to be giving.
All right, Trevor about to blade. Trevor about to blade right now. Go ahead, Trevor blade.
So this hey, red means green, brother. That's all I'm gonna say. You have a WWE, you have a bona fide WWE Hall of Famer, and you mean to tell me that Vince McMahon didn't teach him how to use a razor, brother?
Oh, I hate all of you. I'm leaving.
You don't
all of you.
You don't think he knows how to touch? You don't think he knows how to touch that ear?
And they didn't show his hand before that happened.
Hey, Bret Hart always kept his blade in his wrist tape.
Oh yeah.
And when he touched that ear, I'm just saying this. I'm not a ballistics specialist like MD. MD gonna break it down because MD is the same person that argued with my wife on the education system. So it's all good.
And I was right about that too.
No, you were absolutely wrong.
I was right about that too, and I'll be right about that.
No, you were absolutely wrong. But all I'm gonna say is this: I can't see. I've never hit nobody with no bullets before, but I've been to the gun range plenty of times, and you can't be that accurate to hit somebody that in that position of the ear. You can't.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, you talk about the insanity to be able to do that is crazy.
But wait a minute, Trevor. Bruce Leroy caught the bullet.
Yeah, boy. Yeah. Hey, Bruce
knew
Leroy
he was gonna miss.
Bruce Leroy also had the glow. Hey, but again, I'll be looking forward to MD trying to prove everybody in America wrong with this one because I'm just saying, MD. I know you're not in the conspiracy. It's fun to go down that rabbit hole, but sometimes you just got to look at. You do realize there are people that. Damn, I gotta realize what I can say here. There are people that basically take one for the team. You know that, right?
Yes.
Because they see
I said that initially. That's what I said.
So to think that for you to just dismiss conspiracy is crazy.
It's not in my heart to do it. I just can't. I mean,
A conspiracy
no
is
much
something you
how
didn't see on the
I
video.
struggle. No much how I can struggle all day with it. I just can't do it. I'm sorry, it's not in me.
But what I'm saying is, what I said is nothing that you couldn't see on the video. What
Well,
I said is not something that you can't see. A conspiracy is something that you couldn't see. If I didn't say nothing about nothing that nobody couldn't see, everything I said was something that you could see on that video. And that's my point.
Well, your conspiracy, Patrick, was your flat out denialism of how a Secret Service detail work, which is wrong. So
But MD, this man is
I
telling
know
you
how
he's in
Secret Service
security
detail work.
though. Like he's in security.
Is he in the Secret Service? Is he in the
But he
Secret Service?
says he protects judges though. Like for real,
Is
what are we
he in the
talking?
Secret Service?
Of course he's not in the Secret Service. He wouldn't be able to
Well,
be up
I
here.
ain't nothing to talk about then until I prove it.
Oh come man, whatever, man. All right, I'm gone, man. Hey,
Trevor.
Hold on. Just know that they're keying in on everybody that's talking about this. So throw around your alleged words a lot because
Trevor, that Straight Talk website, that video, there's a part of it that was copywritten or copyright flag or whatever. So I had to mute it out. So that's why I didn't use it in this video here because
what video?
The one that you made with your daughter promoting the website for the clothing and the hats and stuff like that.
How the hell is that?
Yeah, that the music in like the first part of it is flagging something. So I had to, once I muted that out, the last two episodes didn't have a copyright on it.
I own that music though through Canva. Like this is what I'm saying, man. I'm gonna have to go through. I'm gonna have to go through all of this at some point, man. This is ridiculous. But what you was gonna say, Mike? Because I'm gonna go back down. I'm in the middle of doing something.
Sir, the majority of what you said and what Mr. Patrick said, is that not what Mike said immediately moments after this occurred?
Yes.
Yeah, but just because you said it first didn't mean that other people
but it
didn't
means
think
Mike is
it.
right. All I'm
No,
asking
that's
is it
not.
means Mike
That's
is
not
right.
what that means. That means that Mike has the same thought pattern as most of America. That's all that means. See, I ain't gonna sit up here and I ain't gonna sit up here and poke your belly.
Mike thought it afterwards.
I ain't gonna sit up here and poke your
Trevor,
belly.
you don't want to give Mike his flowers. You don't want to give Mike his flowers.
I'm not gonna poke Mike's belly. Mike want me to sit up there and tickle him. I ain't doing it. Y'all can do that.
Just give me my steak and get out the way.
Y'all can do it.
Point blank.
I'm not doing
Mike
it.
is right. Point blank.
He did say the blading thing, but it's not like I wasn't thinking.
What? I said the blading thing. I said the things about all the stuff to Kevin about how Secret Service, how they mark the area out, how they use the state police, how they would have all the roofs already covered. I said all that.
Hey, but you know what? You know what's Mike? You know what's funny? I could show you a message where Keela's husband sent me the same thing before you ever said it.
Show it.
I did send it. I just didn't show you the timestamp.
Show me the timestamp.
He said it before you did. Hey man, there's no new. There's no original thought. There's no original thought, man. Everybody think the same shit. It is what it is.
If everybody thought the same shit, I wouldn't be me.
How about this fact on the
societal
shooting?
validation? You got to be individuals, man. You see, nobody got my take.
How about this fact on the shooting?
All right, so
I'm gone, fellas.
So we're gonna switch gears on it a little bit. So we talked about the fake part about it, but let's talk about the very real issue here. Trump and violence and the rhetoric of Trump in itself. So we have a situation where this shooting happens and now everybody wants to act like kumbaya, kumbaya. Even though some people in the Republican Party, or I should say really MAGA, went on social media and said some reckless stuff immediately afterwards, which was very partisan and silly to do. There's a segment that is acting like the violence and the talk of violence didn't originate from Donald Trump's side. So let's take a look at this video, and then we'll get a consensus from the panel about what they think here.
I certainly don't incite violence.
Knock the crap out of him. I'd like to punch him in the face.
I don't condone violence, and I don't talk about violence.
I would have done well, but I would have been boom, boom, boom. I'll beat that. I don't know if I'll do the fighting myself or if other people will.
Maybe he should have been roughed up because it was absolutely disgusting what he was doing.
If you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of him, would you? Seriously. I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. Try not to hurt him. If you do, I'll defend you in court. Don't worry about it. In the good old days, this doesn't happen because they used to treat them very, very rough. And when they protested once, they would not do it again so easily. We've become weak. We become weak.
And you know what? The audience swung back. And I thought it was very, very appropriate. The audience hit back. And that's what we need a little bit more of now.
Part of the problem and part of the reason it takes so long is nobody wants to hurt each other anymore, right? I don't know if I would have done well, but I would have been out there fighting, folks. I don't know if I would have done well, but I would have been boom, boom, boom. I'll beat that.
Do you plan on paying for the legal fees of this older gentleman in North Carolina who sucker punched the protester?
From what I understand, he was sticking a certain finger up in the air. And that is a terrible thing to do in front of somebody that, frankly, wants to see America made great again.
It's possible you could help him with legal fees if this man needs it.
I've actually instructed my people to look into it, yes.
New details on a story that we brought you last week. The same day, a Washington man was arrested with weapons near the Obama home. Former President Donald Trump posted on social media what he claimed was the Obama home address. The suspect, 37-year-old Taylor Taranto, was already wanted for a number of charges, including involvement in the January 6th insurrection. That man is behind bars right now.
Of stochastic terrorism perpetrated by the twice indicted, twice impeached, failed former president. You know the guy I'm talking about, the guy who's orange. Trump posted Barack Obama's address, or what he believed to be Barack Obama's address, or what was supposedly Barack Obama's address. And even though it wasn't, an armed man showed up. And prosecutors now know all about it. The Associated Press reports Trump posted what he said was Obama's address. An armed man was soon arrested there. Former President Donald Trump posted on his social media platform what he claimed was the home address of former President Barack Obama. On the same day, a man with guns in his van was arrested near the property. Federal prosecutors said Wednesday, revealing new details about the case. The individual is a 37-year-old Taylor Taranto, who prosecutors say participated in the January 6th riots on January 6, 2021. He kept 2 firearms and hundreds of rounds of ammunition inside a van he drove across country and had been living in, according to the Justice Department motion that seeks to keep him behind bars. On the day of his June 29 arrest, prosecutors said Taranto reposted a Truth Social post from Trump containing what Trump claimed was Barack Obama's home address. In a post on Telegram, Taranto wrote, quote, "We got these losers surrounded. See you in hell, Podestas and Obamas." That's a reference to John Podesta, who chaired Hillary's 2016 campaign. Taranto also told followers on his YouTube live stream he was looking to get a, quote, good angle on a shot. Good angle on a shot.
2:27 this morning, San Francisco police officers were dispatched to the residence of Speaker Nancy Pelosi regarding an A priority well-being check.
Officers arriving to see an intruder at the door holding Paul Pelosi with one hand, both men struggling over a hammer. Obviously, we're not going to show what happens next. David DePape then hitting Mr. Pelosi in the head with that hammer as officers rushed through the door, tackling him to the floor. He allegedly broke in just after 2 a.m. That was back on October 28th. Paul Pelosi was home alone at the time. There you see at the doorway, Paul Pelosi, David DePape, the hammer, the hand connected. They say drop the hammer. And of course, that's chilling that we're freezing the video there in and of itself. We're not going to move any further than that.
The man charged with bursting into Nancy Pelosi's home, looking for her and attacking her husband with a hammer. He's 32-year-old David Wayne DePape from Berkeley, California. He allegedly screamed, "Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy?" 82-year-old Paul Pelosi was struck on the head and torso with a hammer. The attacker reportedly tried to tie him up and wait for Nancy. Video shows shattered glass doors in the back of the house in the fashionable Pacific Heights neighborhood of San Francisco. The home invasion took place at 2:27 a.m. Friday. And look, there's an object, possibly a hammer, lying on the carpet. Paul Pelosi called 911 without the attacker realizing.
Paul Pelosi is basically trying to tell her in code what's going on. Why are you here? What are you going to do to me? I mean, you can imagine how he's trying to not let the attacker know that 911 is listening.
Nancy Pelosi has a Capitol Police security detail 24/7, but they were not at the San Francisco house because she was not there.
Before we go, we want to send our best to Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, a lovely, lovely man who was brutally attacked in his own home in the middle of the night. Nancy's husband, Paul.
Here's what we have learned about the accused attacker. He sells hemp jewelry. He's a conspiracy theorist and espouses racist views.
Because we're going to lose our country. Our country's going to hell. Our country's being destroyed. Together we will take on the ultra-left-wing liars, losers, creeps, perverts, and freaks who are devouring the future of this state like a swarm of locusts. And we'll stand up to crazy Nancy Pelosi, who ruined San Francisco. How's her husband doing, by the way? Anybody know? And she's against building a wall at our border, even though she has a wall around her house, which obviously didn't do a very good job. We had no terror during my administration. The only terror we had was Nancy Pelosi, who's a crazed lunatic. She's a lunatic. She is a crazed lunatic. What the hell was going on with her husband? Let's not ask. Let's not ask. I'll withdraw that statement. By the way, she's got a wall around her house. Obviously, in that case, it didn't work very well.
What the hell happened to Nancy Pelosi's husband? He guy in his 80s almost got beaten to death by somebody that fed in to Donald Trump's crazed conspiracy theories. That's what happened to Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, who suffered grievous harm, grievous injury, and Charlie Sykes, I mean, this is just, again, it's a glorification of violence. I've gotten quite impatient over the past year with professors wringing their hands going, oh, it's not fascism. Oh, it's not this. Oh, it's not. Really? I mean, it is so hard to separate. And here you have the glorification, the mocking, the ridiculing of a man in his 80s being almost beaten to death. And Donald Trump is laughing about it. And we know who he is. But who are the people in the audience who are laughing, who are cheering, who are applauding the brutal assault and almost killing of a man in his 80s? Who are those people?
Meanwhile,
That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's sad, take a look at what happened.
Move to spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Up. Hawkeye's here. Move it to spare.
So here's what we know at this hour. What sounds like shots rang out. The former president grabbed his ear, and as he fell, was immediately surrounded by security behind the podium. And as you can see in these images, he was shortly rushed off the stage. This is an emerging situation. NBC's Dasha Burns is at that Trump rally north of Pittsburgh and joins us now. Dasha, what do we know?
Jose, we're still waiting to confirm a lot of the details here. A lot of question marks still up in the air. Here's what I can tell you from my vantage point, because I was standing right here as Trump first came on to
Okay. All right, there we go. So Trump is a person that got attacked this past Saturday. Some people are like, we need to tone down the temperature. But how do you tone down the temperature when the guy that did the temperature increase is the one that started this issue? So, MD, what do you think here about that piece we just saw?
Yeah, I agree with it 100%. I mean, it's sad, and a lot of this is coming from mainstream media, and ultimately, they the enemies to what's going on right now. Yesterday, Morning Joe was pulled off the air to not say anything that would be considered inflammatory or in the wrong as it pertains to the shooting this weekend. You got all these mainstream pundits walking the tightrope, and for what? When the fight's supposed to be against this person that's going against the system of democracy and being autocratic with his sentiment and policy. It's stupid. Like nothing should be changing at all from this. He's fine. They said he was fine. Continue on doing what you do because the rhetoric don't change and it shouldn't change. So I'm disappointed in a lot of the media pundits for last couple of weeks as to their position into trying to so a fine line when it pertains to the stuff that they say. Ain't no damn unity. It won't be unity, not with this type of rhetoric. So we just got to be honest at the end of the day with how we define our reality when it comes to the political plurality. Damn, I can't even say it. Plurality.
Morality? Oh, morality?
Yeah, I just said it. Yeah,
Okay.
when it pertains to the plurality as to how we view politics today, we got to stomp it out like we were saying earlier.
Right.
I mean, you can't be in your feelings. You can't try to be insensitive. The hell with all that. And in this day and age, that ain't gonna cut it until this all go away. And how it's looking now, that's not gonna happen no time soon, even past Trump. So I'm disappointed in a lot of, and it's not just the mainstream pundits. It's a lot of these. Like I said, I define them as blue MAGA. They may define me as blue MAGA. So we pointing at each other like Spider-Man. That's cool. I'm gonna come out on top because I think I'm the smarter person in defining who you are. So in that case, it's those people too on these social media platforms and so on and so forth. The outright indefensiveness and basically turning the dials for that conservative rhetoric to come in is what's dangerous to me. It's real dangerous. Probably even more so than the rhetoric itself. So I think Biden understand that. I think because he been on a tear as a late since I would say the Stephanopoulos interview. And I think now he understand that is more than one enemy now. Not only do we got to fight the MAGA maniacs within the media sphere, he also got to fight the quote unquote uh I would say progressive. I'm gonna use that word. I'm not gonna say liberal. I'm gonna say progressive because those are the real enemies when it comes to the media sphere. Vancat, you might not agree with that.
I
It is
don't.
what it. You part of the problem because the progressive
I'm a
progressives are the
progressive.
ones. Yeah, they are the ones that are insinuating that Biden need to go. They the ones that's doing that and distracting from what the real cause is, and that's the rhetoric of Trump. So you blew back at the end of the day.
Well, we're gonna later on. We're gonna look at some polling, and we'll take a look at that in general and see if if it's okay. We'll see. Um, anything else you want to add on that, MD?
I mean, nah, that's it, man. Again, we know who Trump is. So if that's the case, despite what happens to him, despite what change the direction he go in terms of his rhetoric, I don't give a damn. He must be destroyed at all costs, and focus on that. Don't let them get you in a position where you join in the trauma bond. Don't do it. It's a trap. It's a gaslight, is what it is. But hey, we'll see.
All right. So, Ricardo, what do you feel the rhetoric coming from Trump and MAGA? You think that this is adding and creating this environment where he's getting shot at, and maybe this is the beginning of more to come? What do you think?
Well, first and foremost, I don't know where Mr. Wright went, my twin. Twin, if you're out there, man, come back on the panel. You can't just like be leaving out just like that. I don't know what Trevor said, but I'm gonna get Trevor back for you. But in all seriousness, lest we forget Gabby Giffords shooting that happened not too long ago. And lest we forget Steve Scalise shooting that happened as well. So in both accounts, these were horrific shootings, by the way, of politicians that took place. Other than the regular JFK and his brother shooting and Reagan and all of that. When it comes to the political climate now, it's not nothing that we haven't foreseen, is what I'm trying to articulate. But to see what we have seen previously, where it was like in the case of Gabby Giffords being shot in the head, and then Steve Scalise's shooting, it makes you wonder, when are we gonna take accountability into action here? And this is my problem with Trump. He has been spewing things from the get-go, from the minute he took the political office. It wasn't like Trump did any political previous tenors before. He just jumped into the political race of being a president, and voila, he became president. There are decorum. There's propriety and decorum that we follow in terms of political motives and movements and whatnot. I just think that we've strayed away and moved away from the Mitt Romneys and the Obamas back in the day, when you will use certain verbiage and it was like still a consensus. Maybe it was like people used to call them the elitist political classes, but now it's like we're down to the nitty gritty, dirt and the grime type of politicians like Trump, where it's like, oh, we could say certain things and use violence in politics, and it sounds good to the masses, so I'm just going to continue saying it without repercussions. No, sir. There are things that there are lunatics out there, and MD brought up this point multiple times on this show, and including on his channel as well. The megamaniacs, there's some loonies out there that are like really far out, like lunatics, that you're just like, they will do or say things and you go, aha, we'll laugh, but then in real time they actually will exercise the right to do them. This is the kind of rhetoric that we need to stop condoning from, whether it be Trump, whether it be the goons that he has, whether it be like whatever squad and odd squads that there is, the MAGA, elites and all of that. It's where you got to draw the line. And this is where I think with the shooting, I think it should draw, or if we need to zero in on that kind of rhetoric that he's been spewing for the quite some time, maybe it's time to tone it down. Maybe it's time for him to take a look, an outside looking in, and say, you know what, maybe I might need to tone down. Are we going to see that? Probably not, because it's all fuel to the fire. It helps him, look big and bold and strong and all of that. But there's a time and place now where this is now just getting way out of hand. For me, you keep hearing me saying Gabby Giffords incident, because that was shocking to me just to see it. I think I remember seeing it in real time when it flashed on the news. So maybe some people might have forgotten about it. But for that woman to have been shot in the head, and then we just were in a state of like panic for the whole week because we weren't sure if she was going to survive or if she was going to die. That kind of thing makes me go, okay, well, maybe it's just we're just doing too much at this point. We need, I think everyone, whether it be from the Democratic side or the Republican side, need to tone down the types of rhetoric that we've been spewing for quite some time. Maybe some more so than others. But do we see this ending anytime soon? Do I see it ending anytime soon? I doubt it. Nope, it won't, because it seems to be adding fuel to the fire, and it helps bring vote in. It helps bring in certain people in, certain demographics in, and the plausibility of this, will just continue. So, to answer your question, Venkat, am I really surprised that Trump got shot? No, I don't. But again, we question certain things, and it's our job, and MD, I know you're not, with the conspiracy theories thing, but I'm a firm believer in questioning things. You have to. This is our job as human beings. We have to question things. Now, that's where enlightenment comes in. That's where we had movements in science and in the proverbial movement of everything that man has reached thus far. We have to. Now, some people might say, why are you questioning? You have to. As a person that's, if you're a captain and a co-pilot, I think the co-pilot's job is to question the captain at all times. Did you hear the call? Did you hear the ATC say so and so? Did you hear? Even though he's lower than the captain is, he's supposed to question, because that's your job to do it. My child is supposed to question me and question why I do things. Now, it might annoy me, it might irritate me, but that's their job. We all have to do it, because in a time like this where you see shootings happening randomly and again conveniently timed, like I stated, the word of the day for me, you question everything because you just never know. For all we know, it could be a ruse, a distraction. And later on down in history, we don't want to look back and say, well, why didn't we question when that shooting happened? Why, this could have led to, the V for Vendetta thing that we've seen in movies. It's that kind of thing. We have to question stuff. We need to question stuff. We ought to question stuff. And I'm leaving it at that. Am I surprised that he got shot? No.
All right. Thank you, Ricardo. Patrick T., what's your thoughts on Trump's rhetoric and the issues that we're facing politically right now?
The biggest issue right now is that the Democrats are scared to death that some way, somehow, that Trump might get back in office. And any misstep that Biden makes, they're ready to throw him away. And when Biden didn't do so well on the debate, no one mentioned that Trump was convicted of a SA. No one told Trump that he should drop out. No one told Trump that he should drop out when he was convicted of 34 felonies. So it's just that the Democrats are so afraid, because this election we could lose our democracy if he gets back in. So I think it's a bit of an overreaction. And also, the Republicans are scared because ever since Mitch McConnell, excuse me, not Mitch, what's the Mormon guy?
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney. Ever since Mitt Romney, the Republicans know that they cannot win an election with a traditional conservative Republican. And Trump is all they got. Trump is their last chance. So they have to support him no matter what he does. But, what I think Democrats should do, it might sound comical, but I think what they should do is they should have a Democrat that doesn't want to run for president and have him spit the same rhetoric that Trump does. He'll be the Democratic Trump, and he'll go out there and talk crazy and talk madness, and it'll burn the people out from Trump. And I think that'll work. If they had a Democrat that was willing to do that and just talk as crazy as Trump crazy, because Trump has no new albums from his last time. And he spent $1 billion, and he was still 10 points down on the day of the election. And this time he only had like 250 million. So I don't think there's no way he can win the election, but that doesn't assuage fear. And, you know, if we had that guy that would do that, I think we'll win the election. And if we did one Taylor Swift concert in every swing state, the election will be over. And they could just call it the Vote Swiftly Tour. One Taylor Swift concert with Biden in every swing state. The a Biden campaign should pay for it, and that's it. Because without the young votes the last time, Biden would have lost. That's all it'll take. I don't know why they're not doing that. And I think that would the extra Democrat talking like Trump would make him old news, and the Taylor Swift concerts will get the young people out. And because we got to win. You see what the Supreme Court did. They don't care. This is in a two-party system. When one party is dying, this is what they do. They make it harder to vote and easier to cheat. And because they don't want to die. They don't want to be out, and that's what they're looking at. So they're openly doing dirt, and they don't even care who sees it. So that's my take on what needs to happen, and I hope it does, because we can't, and we and black folks don't fall for the 50 Cent shooting. Don't fall for it. It was fake. It was phony. But Mel Brooks said something really good, and I don't know if y'all remember the Young Frankenstein movie. He said, "I had to show that the monster could unalive someone." And what's sad is they knew that guy couldn't see. They knew he wasn't going to hit Trump, but he had to show that he was dangerous and that someone could be unalive. And now we have two people fighting for their life, and one person that's unalived. So it's sad, but these guys don't care. Getting back in power, Trump doesn't care. Getting back in power is just going to keep him out of jail, and he could put on the sash that says "I'm president," and he can go after the people that he think did him wrong. That's all he cares about. But those people beside him, the people that works under them, those guys are looking for real power, for real control of the country for the next 50 years. And that's what we have to worry about. But I love to stay and talk to you guys, but I gotta go into Walmart and send MD20 the money I owe him.
All right. Thank you, Patrick. We appreciate you on the panel.
Yeah, great to talk to y'all. Goodbye.
All right. So we have this shooting that just happened this past Saturday. However, that was not the only time someone tried to assassinate Donald Trump. Matter of fact, there was another time on top of that time, and on top of that time. It's not a new thing. But here's one that's very interesting. It really did not get enough attention. This was back in 2016. And a young, I believe he was 19 years old, from the UK. And he had an attempt on Donald Trump back in 2016. Let's take a look at that real quick, and then we'll go back to the panel.
A British man is in custody this morning after claiming he had plans to assassinate Donald Trump. Michael Stephen Stanford is his name. He was arrested Saturday at a Trump rally. Police say that he tried to grab an officer's gun so that he could shoot the presumptive Republican nominee. Investigators say that he apparently plotted this attack for about a year now. Jeff Begay is following the investigation. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning. Investigators say the suspect had been training at a Las Vegas gun range in the hours before he was arrested. Authorities say he fired 20 rounds at a target from a 9mm Glock pistol before putting his plot into motion a day later.
I love Las
The
Vegas!
GOP presumptive nominee did not know what was really happening in the crowd at this campaign stop in Las Vegas. According to investigators, what appeared to be a disturbance was actually 20-year-old Michael Stephen Sanford's disrupted plot to kill Donald Trump Inside Treasure Island Casino's Mystere Theater, he was quickly rushed away.
Thank you, officers.
According to court documents, Sanford got up from his seat and approached an officer saying that he was seeking an autograph from Trump. He then attempted to take the officer's weapon by grabbing the holster and handle with both hands. Investigators say Sanford admitted to trying to shoot and kill Trump, acknowledging that he would likely only be able to fire 1 to 2 rounds before being killed by police. This isn't the first threat to Trump on the campaign trail. In March, a demonstrator was arrested during a rally in Dayton, Ohio, after he tried to rush the candidate on stage. In recent months, the candidate's West Coast campaign stops have on occasion included violent encounters between protesters, Trump supporters, and police. But Trump hasn't been the only target.
Step away right there.
Last month, Secret Service agents jumped into action to protect Democratic candidate Bernie Sanders when at least 5 people stormed the stage at a campaign stop in Oakland.
We don't get intimidated easily.
There is security camera footage of the incident in Las Vegas, but it has not yet been made public. According to a public defender, Sanford, who is a British citizen, was here in the U.S. illegally with an expired passport. He'll be in court again early next month. Charlie.
Thanks, Jeff. Federal authorities now revealing what they say was a plot to kill Donald Trump. A man driving across state lines, showing up at a rally in Las Vegas, and reaching for an officer's gun. ABC News obtaining a federal complaint. Authorities say that man told the officer he was there to get Trump's autograph, and that's when he tried to get the gun.
Authorities now say that Michael Sanford, 19, allegedly told the Secret Service that this was an attempt to kill Trump. A complaint obtained by ABC News claims Sanford, who has a British driver's license, had been planning to assassinate Trump for about a year. He allegedly told the Secret Service he had driven from California to Las Vegas on June 16th to kill Trump after seeing news reports that the candidate would be there. A day later, he went to a Vegas gun range to learn how to shoot.
By the way, folks, while we're at it, great.
Go.
Nobody said it was going to be easy for us, but we will never be stopped. Never, ever be stopped. I want to thank the Secret Service. These guys are fantastic. They don't get enough credit.
All right, so there we have it. 2016, 19-year-old young man from the UK also tried to assassinate Donald Trump, among others. So, Ricardo, what do you think about that video?
Wait, am I up?
Yeah. I was asking, what are your thoughts on that video?
I mean, it's for anyone to try to like assassinate anyone. It's like really too intense for me. I'm not sure why people go through that derangement of trying to like take out someone or kill somebody, and as opposed to thinking about the thought rational of, hey, they might not be what I want, or they're not the I might have opposing views, or they might have opposing views. But to go to the great length of breath of taking a gun to then end somebody's life because of a plethora of reasons why you don't like them is on the not even the borderline derangement. It's just you very deranged. Yes, my daughter agrees. But it's one of them things where I think people need to take psychological assessments and really assess what's real and what's not real. It's very scary, the thought process behind all of that. But that young man that went out of his way to go to that rally to try to kill Trump, really, what did you think you were going to get out of that? Like, who knows what would have happened? Thank God it didn't, end up the way we thought it should have. But that's a scary thought process to think. It's just like everything else before when it comes to every other politician. When they do get, into that element of like shooting or harming somebody, it's still a very, scary thought process, but it's also scary just to fathom like what would have happened as the end result. So hopefully that young man is getting help. I'm sure he's in jail or prison somewhere, but for all the others that are out there trying to be the copycats, please don't do stuff like this. It's not worth it. You're living in a country where you're allowed free will, free speech. Doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna always get what you want, but to go through that great length of breath is a scary reasoning to do such an act, and I wouldn't implore anyone to do that.
And the similarities in age, he was 19. This one that we just had on Saturday was 20. It's just crazy. But the recent shooter from Saturday, they're saying he has no like mental health issues per se, whereas the one in 2016, he has some mental health issues. So the fact that he would seemingly plan it, fly from the UK, go to America, practice shooting, then locate and find where Trump is going to be, and then execute the plan. It sounds like he planned it out, mental health or not, I don't know, but it's just crazy, all these attempts that are happening right now. So MD is not on the panel right now. Would have liked to have gotten his take on it, but for now, we have some polling results and numbers. And we want to take a look at this to see, just how badly the effects or not bad effects of the debate. And then they're going to go into like the current status of the path to 270 to get the White House. So let's take a look at these polling results and numbers, and we'll be back.
Take a look at what the public opinion polling is telling us since Thursday's debate. NBC News' Steve Kornacki's at the big board. So, Steve, we don't have a lot of data yet, but we do have some new numbers from the CBS YouGov poll over the weekend. This is just an immediate snapshot following the debate, but what does it tell us?
From this CBS YouGov poll, and they asked a couple questions here. Let's show you this first of all. They asked a general question. Should Biden, this is just in general, should he be running for president? They've asked that throughout the year. Back in February, 37% of voters said that Biden just should be running for president. Now, right after the debate, they have that number dropping to just 28%. By comparison, they asked the same question about Donald Trump post-debate. The number is 46%. Now, more specifically, in response to the debate, they asked this: what should Biden do right now in the wake of this debate? And in this CBS poll, 64%, basically 2/3 of the electorate, said he should step aside. And I think what's particularly troubling for Biden in that number, not just the fact that it's 2/3, is look at within his own party. This isn't just his political opponents saying he should get out of the race. This is worry within his own party, concern within his own party. 45% of Democrats saying that Biden should step aside. And obviously that performance, I think, just reinforcing and maybe even increasing in terms of its potency, the main concern, or one of the main concerns we've seen over and over when it comes to Biden, and that is his age. This is a Gallup poll just before the debate, and already going into the debate, 67% of voters said they considered Biden too old to be president. That's 30 points higher than the number for Donald Trump. And just take a look at the other oldest nominees in history. John McCain in 2008, Dole 96, Reagan in both of his campaigns. The number was somewhere in the 30s, even the 20s for Reagan. That Biden number is a number we've never seen for any candidate before. And I will say, as we wait for definitive polling, we do have one poll that has now asked the horse race question after the debate, asking Biden versus Trump after the debate, who are you for? It's just from one state. It's from New Hampshire. But in that New Hampshire poll, this is out just a couple minutes ago, Trump leads by 2 points in the New Hampshire poll. If you can read my writing, Trump +2. And the critical thing there is in 2020, Biden carried New Hampshire by 7.5 points. So we don't have a pre-debate poll from St. Anselm was the pollster here. Their last one had been in December. They had Biden up 10 then. This is their first poll since December. But at least compared to the 2020 result in New Hampshire, their poll just after this debate is a pretty big shift.
Yeah, that's certainly a warning sign for the Biden campaign. So, Steve, what about the alternatives? What do we know about feelings for Vice President Kamala Harris?
Yeah, and you just heard, Mike taking you through all of the sort of political machinations that are involved there. But here's the dilemma for Democrats. You could just see it in the numbers. Take the basic question. It's a good measure of every politician. Favorable, unfavorable. 2 recent polls asked it about Joe Biden. You could see here he was 39 favorable, 58 favorable. This is about a week ago. About 2 weeks ago, 44, 56 in Fox. These are not good numbers. But they asked the same question in these same polls about Kamala Harris. These numbers aren't better. In fact, they're a little bit worse. Her favorable 37 in the same poll where Biden's is 39, 41 in the same poll where it's 44. And with what Mike just told you there, that's a huge consideration, or it probably is for Democrats, because if you do say Biden is very weak, got to get him out, got to get somebody else in. If Kamala Harris is likely to be that nominee, Democrats have to ask themselves, is that really going to enhance their political positioning?
Okay.
Walk us through where the race stands right now.
I think the most striking thing, Jake, is on this first night of the Republican convention, and let me turn this way so you can get a closer look, is just take a look between the then and now. This is the then. This is the 2020 presidential election. This is Joe Biden's overwhelming and convincing win in the Electoral College. Yes, the former president was in the room here tonight. Others in the room here tonight still say this was a rigged or unfair election. That's not true. It's just not true. Joe Biden won, and he won big. That was that, 306 to 232. But this is our current CNN projection of where we are now. And look at this. If Donald Trump won what we have here, dark red states, solid Republican. Light red states, leaning Republican. If he won just those right there, he would already have the path to 270. He would have 272 electoral votes. Look what is different. We have Wisconsin as a toss-up. We have Pennsylvania as a toss-up, 2 critical states for Joe Biden. Michigan right now, another critical state for Biden, leaning Republican. Georgia, a state Biden flipped, leaning Republican. Arizona, a toss-up state. That was a state Biden flipped. Nevada, a state he won, leaning Republican. This is the dire strait for Joe Biden right now on the first night of the Republican convention. Tomorrow is 16 weeks to Election Day. 16 weeks from tomorrow, we count the votes. It is tough to change a map like this in that amount of time. And here's why Democrats are so worried, why so many Democrats are saying, Mr. President, please reconsider and get out of this race. Because right now, Trump is leading here. And Trump is leading here, narrowly, but he's ahead in those states. Trump is leading here. That's 312 electoral votes. Trump is leading in this Nebraska congressional district. Let me change it that way. Nebraska does it by congressional district. That's 313 electoral votes. And Democrats are warning that Trump may not be well ahead. It may still be margin of error. It might be a tie. But right now, Trump is competitive here. That's blue Virginia. That's blue New Hampshire. So the warnings to the White House are Donald Trump could conceivably, if the current dynamics in the race hold, get 330 or more electoral votes. That's what they believe. Now, if you're a Democrat, if you're in the Biden White House, yes, there are 16 weeks to Election Day. So, can it be done? Come back to this. Can it be done? Yes. But it's a very narrow path for Joe Biden. He must win this. He must change this. Michigan has to go blue, and he must win this. Look at that number. Even if he did that, won the 3 blue wall states, he's at 269. So he either has to get Arizona or Nevada back or get Georgia back and win the Nebraska congressional district. So Joe Biden has essentially 1, maybe 2 narrow paths to 270 Donald Trump has so many. There are viable paths to get him as high as 330, which means you can take some states away, Jake, and he would still get to 270. Donald Trump on the first night of his convention, and Democratic people who are studying the data closely say it keeps getting worse for the president. Donald Trump opened his convention tonight in a commanding position in this race, period. I think it will be the interesting test case to watch J.D. Vance get on the road, watch where they put him, not just on the ground campaigning, but on television interviews. One of the things a vice presidential nominee does a lot of local television interviews. So let's see how they use J.D. Vance. Let's use your home state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Is J.D. Vance going to flip Allegheny County, where Pittsburgh is, from blue to red? No. No, most unlikely anyway. But does he change the margins? That's the question, right? So you're in a place like this. This is Allegheny County. Pittsburgh's right here, strong Democratic stronghold. But as you move up, where the president's rally was in Butler is up here, to the north of that, as you go up. As you move up here, there are voters who are available to you. 59% to 39% there. If you go back to 2016, you come back there. 56%. You might say 59, 56. That's close. Doesn't matter. It matters a lot. It matters a lot. The third-party candidates, again, we're talking about Trump, Biden, Vance, Kamala Harris tonight, but the third-party candidates matter as well. The issue is you have places like that. Will we see, my question is, do we see J.D. Vance over in places like this? Bucks County, the more blue-collar, the more competitive of the Philadelphia collar counties, maybe plays there. Some blue-collar people here. As you move into Montgomery County and you come down here into Chester County and you move over here to Delaware County, that's where Donald Trump's kryptonite. The American suburbs is Donald Trump's kryptonite. And does J.D. Vance help there? His record on abortion, his record on other issues. There's nothing on paper today that says J.D. Vance will help you here. But Western Pennsylvania, then you come across again Michigan. The Teamsters president was here tonight. Joe Biden has trouble with some auto workers. There are places in Michigan. Notice Donald Trump came into the hall tonight before a gentleman from Western Michigan spoke. The Trump people timed his entrance for a reason, because they know where this race will be won or lost. So can he help here? Can he help here? Well, remember, he's from here in Ohio, a reliably red state here. And if you remember back on the night of 2016, Jake, the first clue that Donald Trump was going to have a good night was when the votes started coming in northern Kentucky, right along the Ohio border. And yes, you knew Donald Trump was going to win Kentucky. It's a red state, but the turnout was coming through the roof. That's when we first started seeing, because if that happened there, then would it happen here? And there's communities just like that here in Pennsylvania, and there's also communities just like that to the west in Michigan and Wisconsin. Turnout matters. Can J.D. Vance get more white Trump voters, maybe disillusioned with both candidates? A lot of voters out there who don't like either of these major party nominees for president. One of the things that gets forgotten sometimes is, look at that, 62 million votes, right? 63 if you round up million votes for Donald Trump in 2016. He got a lot more votes in 2020. He still lost because Joe Biden and the Democrats turned out so many more voters. President Biden has an enthusiasm problem right now. If J.D. Vance can help Donald Trump turn out every MAGA Republican, every maybe non-Trump Republican, but by DNA Republican who can't vote for Biden, that number might be enough this time.
Okay. All right. So there we go. We looked at some of those numbers from the polling. Ricardo, well, what do you think? Anything strikes you as far as the path to 270, the path that Joe Biden has to take? And they also talked about the age and how negative the American people are towards Biden's age versus other historically old presidents running. What's your take here?
I mean, it's not that surprising, to be perfectly honest, that the American people are disillusioned with Joe at the moment. I mean, neither candidates are young, fresh-minded people that are coming into the fray of, we're going to change the establishment, we're going to move progressiveness here. I mean, not to tout on anybody's shoes here, but even though Joe is Democratic and kind of somewhat progressive, he is of the old vanguard, which most people are, against. It's the idea of that there's nothing fresh there, and so I hate to say it, but Americans are typically very ageist, and it shows because you could always have a younger guy going out. I'm sorry, an older guy going out with a younger woman or vice versa, but it's just the appeal of having somebody young. The only good thing that happens to be I guess showcased here is that he has Kamala, which is the vice president, on his side, because she's is I guess in some aspects very popular. Um, that might help him, but at the same length and breath, it also hinders him because he's still looked at as old and played out and nothing there. And it's just like, what do you have that you're bringing to the table that we don't already have seen before? But one of the things I've always said when the show started, TFP started from October of last year, was that Americans are typically very fickle. So there's a lot of things that Joe has done since coming into power that we've all tend to have forgotten so far. And even if he goes on top of the highest mountain in the world and shout them from the rooftop, people are not gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." They're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you did do that before." But we don't care. We care about the fact that you're old now and Donald Trump is coming into the power and we're terrified. And what are you gonna do? It's that, and you can even see it when he did. I don't know if you saw the recent interview just a few days ago with Brian Holt on NBC, where he was
Oh, Lester Holt.
with Lester Holt. Sorry, I said Brian. Lester Holt, where he literally saw, like you saw that side where that angry side of him comes out, which is very rare, but it does happen every now and then. He's like, "Why you guys keep talking about Trump? You guys never question the things that he do. What about the things that he said online?" And I'm like, yeah, you're beginning to see him now showing the frustration of the media always focuses on the negative stuff of what Trump does, but never question what he has done, like how Patrick had mentioned the essays and all of that. Why are we not talking about those stuff where we're just focusing on me? So I feel bad for him, but in some ways the Democrats would have to find some way to show him fresh and exhilarating going forward, because the poll numbers that we just saw in that piece really do strike a very striking number of, hey, it's detrimental at this point. We're going into November, and if it's not fixed by now, we have a big major problem on our hands, and we're literally giving the presidency to DT. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, Van Cat, where we're like, all right, do or die at this point. Let's either fix this now or get out of the race.
I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, you're right 100%, Ricardo. So we got MD back on the panel. MD, two things. Of course, the polling numbers and stats, the path to 270 that we just looked at, and then any thoughts on the other 19-year-old that tried to assassinate Trump back in 2016. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, I don't put much in it. I mean, just compare how the Secret Service moved, and he was just a presidential candidate at that point, which the President Obama, and with the tradition of what to do during a presidential campaign, to give a detail. It's a difference between a detail and a full regime of Secret Service to the candidate, whether it be one or two, because it could be two. It could be a different primary candidate for the Democrat or Republican. It's a detail. That's what it's called. Notice how they moved him in that situation versus what happened Saturday. But I digress from that. As far as the polling, I don't give a damn about it. We're 3.5 months away from the election. There is no plausible strategy in which you can get Biden out. It's just not. It's not. You guaranteed to lose. And what?
No, I agree with that point too.
Yeah, you guaranteed to lose. Even if you go with Kamala, it's
Her
over.
numbers are worse than Biden.
But the question that you must ask yourself, Bearcat, is why?
Well, she's black, so it's going to be a hard sell.
Okay,
If Hillary Clinton was the white woman and couldn't
gotta
win,
go.
how's this black woman going to win?
That's a good point, but also that's what the other side fears. It's not that. That's the reason why they're pushing Donald Trump so much, is because they don't know what Kamala brings to the table. I think that's where you get the MAGAs all like up in an ant here, because they don't know, and that's where they're like, okay, we're gonna bring in the Project 2025 and all this stuff. They don't know. It's the unknown that scares. It's always the unknown that scares the other side. You just don't know. And it's like they can't take that chance, just like we can't take the chance of bringing him back in. We already saw you play your hands. What are you going to bring now when you play your hands the second time around? Like, that's dangerous, unbeknownst to us. But it's like, at this point, to kick out Joe because he's old, like, that's just crazy talk. Like, at this late in the stage, we had ample time to do that the year before. Why was that not a concern then? Now, all of a sudden, when we did one debate, just one, which is just a Kickstarter, we're all panicking. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, we need to get our priorities in order here. This is not the time to be fickle, but at the same length of breath, the concerns are warranted. It's just that I think Joe and Camp need to now either get this fixed where, the concerns are there where we're like, oh, you're old, sir, and your cognitive state is being questioned, and you're sounding like you sleepy, and you forgetting things, and you're saying crazy stuff like President Putin and all this stuff. You need to either stop saying that, or you put a mic in your ear and listen to what we're telling you to do. Something has to be fixed here before they go forward into November, because to then say we're just going to kick him out and then put in Kamala, and then we're going to flip-flop next minute and say, oh, wait a minute, we had time to do that. And then the next week we're going to be like, oh, but Donald Trump is coming from the other side. Like, this is not the time. Like, this is what we were talking about from Tape Fist Politics started from last year. We can't be flip-flopping at this point. It's either you choose. What have we not seen from Donald Trump now that's making you undecided? Like, there should be no undecided voters. I don't understand this concept that people are like, I'm just going to wait until October to make a choice. What are you doing? Like, this is the people that you see now have always shown their hands. This is them. They ain't going to change. You see what I'm saying? But I digress, I think it's the fear known that, but I still think my theory stands true, or my prediction, that Joe will win by just a slight marginal win, and she's going to come in and become the first, female president, and the first Black female president at that. And it will be like, oh, they're throwing us a card out there. But I think, that's just me throwing a wild theory out there, but I think it might come true.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. MD fell off the panel, so while we wait for MD, I think it's time to go into session. It's time to go into lame duck session and see this week's trash bag human of the week. Let's do it.
First things first, in this lame duck session.
For the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress we've made. In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You're trying your best, but it never feels like enough.
I started having second thoughts almost the moment I sat down on the plane.
Lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off. Turn them off. Let's go. Ready?
We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
So I changed my return flight and flew back on the first available flight I could take.
I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
I'm sick and tired of ordinary people being fleeced.
I'm tired of being quiet.
I'm sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
With great power comes great responsibility.
These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But
I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones. You see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it? You want to see a bird graveyard? You just go. Take a look. A bird graveyard? Go under a windmill someday. You'll see more birds than you've ever seen ever in your life.
Warning, a Garfield County judge is now facing 8 felony counts after he was indicted in a Texas courtroom Friday for a road rage shooting. He shot at another driver after they cut him off. Court documents show the Oklahoma judge then rammed his SUV into the back of another vehicle several times. Garfield County officials told us in November Lovell was not currently handling any cases. He's due back in Texas court March 19th.
A few moments later.
New drive-by shooting charges tonight for a Garfield County judge who's already charged with gun crimes in Texas.
This newest indictment alleges Lovell shot at his brother-in-law's house in Bison in February of last year. People were home at the time, but no one was hurt.
Okay, we're going to talk about the most gangster judge in America. The guy's just been indicted for 2 drive-by shootings in 2 separate states.
A Garfield County Associate District Judge under investigation again.
This time for an alleged drive-by shooting back in February. We told you about Judge Brian Lovell's legal trouble in Austin, Texas, where he was arrested for shooting a gun and road rage. News 4's Caitlin Ogle is in Garfield County with the new information.
The home the suspect fired at belonged to the judge's own brother-in-law, the bullets narrowly missing his son. We talked to the brother-in-law who says when investigators reached out to him a couple of weeks ago, he was shocked.
I had no idea that it could have been Brian Lovell.
Kenneth Marcus says February 12th, his son spotted an unfamiliar car while looking out the window of Marcus's ranch home in Bison.
And out here in the country, if you see an unfamiliar vehicle, you notice. And he stepped to another window to see if it was driving in, and that's when shots were fired.
The bullets hitting a wall, window, and oven, barely missing his son.
Seeing a person in a window and missing by a matter of inches is not just a random shooting.
The offense report shows 5 .40 caliber shell casings were found. The suspect got away. 2 days after the drive-by, Judge Lovell reporting his .40 caliber gun stolen sometime between January 28th and February 11th, the day before the shooting. Skip to September 11th in Austin, Texas, where Judge Lovell is accused of firing shots into 5 cars, then slamming his white SUV into the back of a woman's vehicle, allegedly attempting to push her into oncoming traffic. Lovell saying she cut him off. 9 days later, Garfield County asking OSBI to investigate the drive-by and the stolen gun. Then a couple of weeks ago, Marcus getting a call from the OSBI asking about Lovell, who he hasn't talked to in more than 10 years.
Some people think they're above the law, and I hope this case is not swept under the rug. If it is, karma will take care of it.
Thursday, News 4 knocking on Lovell's door. Through the doorbell, we were told no comment.
This is Judge Brian Lovell, 59, from the great state of Oklahoma. Now, Judge Lovell has been a judge since 2011 and was recently promoted because he was doing such a great job.
Lovell was sworn in as a special district judge in Garfield County in January of 2011. Earlier this year, he was promoted to an associate district judge.
Let me take you to the great state of Texas, where our judge has just been cut off in traffic.
Lovell was arrested last week for a series of events unfolding on Austin, Texas streets, nearly 500 miles from his home. According to this affidavit, witnesses say they saw Lovell fire shots in as many as 5 cars at this intersection. Witnesses saying a man driving a white SUV left the scene. Police then got a second call of a road rage crash about 1.5 miles away. According to the affidavit, Lovell driving a white SUV slammed into the back of a woman's car. The two got into an argument, and Lovell reportedly intentionally hit her car a second time, attempting to push her vehicle into oncoming traffic. Police found a gun and magazine in his SUV. He reportedly told officers he did not know why he would have shot his gun and could not recall any part of the shooting incident.
Now, something interesting happened. See, police got the shell casings and the firearm that was used in that Austin shooting. Now, they took the ballistics and were able to match those bullets to another case back in February of 2023. This is what happened.
New documents could reveal a past of repeated bad behavior by a Garfield County judge.
Judge Brian Lovell was arrested and later charged for firing a gun while driving in Austin, Texas.
We're told months before there was another shooting at a family member's home in Bison, that's near Enid. And investigators now say bullets in both cases came from the same gun.
Now, it's important to remember, the gun that was used in this Austin shooting was also the gun used at the drive-by shooting in Oklahoma. So the judge was indicted for the Oklahoma shooting too.
New drive-by shooting charges tonight for a Garfield County judge who's already charged with gun crimes in Texas.
3 different crimes in 2 states. This newest indictment alleges Lovell shot at his brother-in-law's house in Bison in February of last year. People were home at the time, but no one was hurt.
Now, the judge is facing 8 felony counts in Texas, which can land him decades in prison, and he's facing a life sentence in Oklahoma.
He's now facing 2 felony charges, including shooting into a dwelling, which carries up to 20 years in prison, and using a vehicle to do it. That drive-by charge could come with a life sentence.
All right, so with all this evidence stacked up against him, the same gun used in both scenes, what you gonna do? Well, his lawyer is confident that he's gonna get this case tossed out.
The judge entered a not guilty plea on behalf of Brian Lovell. His attorney telling me they plan to fight this case vigorously.
We intend to attack the jurisdiction and soundness of the indictment.
His attorney, Stephen Jones, who also represented Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh, won't comment on the case in Texas, but is standing by his client on the charges in Oklahoma.
It was a long time before the indictment was returned, and that bears on him and his family. But he's strong character, in my view. He's innocent.
Now, just to be clear, in everybody's view, he should be innocent because he's innocent until proven guilty. He hasn't been tried yet. Now, here's what the judge said at his indictment.
It's impossible! I never broke the law! I am the law!
Okay, that was Judge Dredd. But here's what the judge actually said to reporters.
Now, we went to his home today to ask him what happened.
Judge Lovell was at his home in Wacomas Wednesday when we knocked on his door.
I am Adria with News 4, and we're going to ask you a little bit about the situation that happened in Austin. Thank you.
He did not respond to our questions about the incident.
Well, Judge Woodward says that it will be up to the Oklahoma State Supreme Court to recommend any disciplinary action.
All right. There he is. There he goes. Put the spotlight on the trash bag human of the week, number 47, Judge Brian Lovell. Ain't no love, as we do drive-bys on a daily. Ricardo, what do you think about number 47, lame duck of the week?
If but your ass thought you said ain't no love. I'm like, what? What did we say now on TFP politics? But let me no, this man took the quack out of quackmatics for lame duck. I mean, my God. The rap sheet was just astronomically bad. Like I don't even know where to begin. But we gotta start somewhere. This is a judge? Like how we were discussing about what we've seen so far in politics with the post assassination attempt, but this is a judge we're talking about. This is someone that traditional I can't even say the word properly. Traditionally
Traditionally? Oh, judicially.
Right. Presides over people's cases, and this his behavior. This is who, I would love to know if he's not, like, has he been disbarred yet? I can't remember if I heard that in the video. I was waiting for it to come up yet from court, because you can't be a judge and be behaving this particular way. And he's not the first person I've noticed with this kind of stance where I'm literally seeing bad behavior after next, and they're actually in high positions and offices. This sets the bar really low. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you expect people to be like taking you or making criminals accountable when the people that presides over the criminals are literally doing the same, if not worse, than
Yep.
than what the criminals are doing? Again, and I still echo the sentiments that I said before. When are we gonna go back or arcing back to the days when it used to be like clear cut, where would it be SCOTUS or a regular court, person? When are we going to go back to those days when we're not taking bribes or taking stuff or doing things that we know we're not supposed to be doing? And like I said, you can't be a judge and then be showing up. There's certain decorum that you have to. It doesn't make sense. Like what I'm saying, like there's certain decorums that you have to follow and conduct. Like you wouldn't expect a pastor to be at a strip club watching booty bounce up and down. Like that just defeats the whole purpose of why you're a pastor. The same thing would be the case for a judge. Why would you be at a cock ring watching cocks fight to the death? Like that's just something that you wouldn't expect a judge to be doing. This is what we're seeing. This man, like, he's done far worse, but I'm just using that as an example. When are we going to harken back to the days when it just be clear cut? It's just these people are being on or presiding on courts, and the bad behavior just follows them. And in his particular case, Brian, you ain't cutting it, man. I hope they disbar you, and I hope that you don't preside over any other case, because you do earn the lame duck. I'm just mad you're not number 50, you're number 47. But who's ever get the covenant 50? I hope they well. Can you imagine we've literally done 47 lame ducks and he's number 47? So you've earned that covenant spot, sir. But I just wish you were nudged to 50. But I digress. But
And
no,
this lame duck was actually supposed to happen 2 months ago.
wow.
It just kept getting buried from other lame ducks, and then after a while, I forgot about him. Then I remembered the other day, and I'm like, oh my god, I got to get him in the lame duck. I had the video. I did this video like 2 months ago,
I was
and
gonna say,
I just had it there.
hell you dig up this dude from? Like it's like him with a left field. But he's well served. I think he would have been probably number 30 something if,
Right.
if that was 2 months ago. But well warranted. But it's just crazy, man. Like his rap sheet is just like, and then they go to his door and he has nothing to say. Like you have nothing, right? You're mute now, right? You're just completely mute. Just shocking behavior. This is the kind of thing that that we were discussing with MD. When you're on certain spots, like for instance, you're on SCOTUS with what's his name that we're talking about from Buckhead, Clarence Thomas and all of them.
Clarence Thomas, yeah.
Right. You can't be taking, gifts and bribes and not making it accountable. That defeats the purpose of why you're a judge. Like I get it when people are like, but they're not. One of MD's stance was that it doesn't really make a difference if it's not like he's supposed to be forced to. But at the same length of breath, it's ethics. It's the ethics that's the word that we're going for here. They're the reason why we have, we call into question certain things when certain rulings don't go into play here. It goes to them. And in one particular instance, the one that we still struggle with as for why they weren't able to state, the one that they presided over, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I think, where they said that a president, if he is in the presidential desk, he's immune to what you might call it. Like I still don't understand when we say that some of the law, you can't then go back and see, but when he is in the presidential seat, he's not allowed to be prosecuted. That's crazy talk. That would be like saying that the king of England is allowed to kill somebody, but then he's not above the law. Like, which is it? Like, you can't have them both ways. It doesn't make sense. That's not what the forefathers built the Constitution for. But here we go with people that are supposed to be on our side doing the complete opposite, and that's where this is so problematic for this judge called Lovell, or is it Lovell? I don't even know how to say it.
Lovell.
Lovell. Like the duck has a reason to have that knife up in the rage that he has. My God, Lovell, you just no, sir. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But well deserved. I just wish he was 50.
Yeah, we're seeing this repeatedly over and over. People having these high-ranking positions, whether it be a governor or a senator, or president, just a police officer. They have these entrusted roles in society, and time after time, they abuse these these offices that they hold, and they abuse the trust, and they abuse everything. They use the power to enrich themselves. They use the power to get over on others, and it's always corruption at its finest. And what could easily solve the issue is if you change laws addressing the issue by simply stating that if you hold a particular job title or office, like the president, like a governor, a senator, a police officer, a lawyer, even a judge, if you have one of those positions and you break the law, it should exponentially be more severe for that person than a regular citizen. They have laws that specifically targets gang members. They have laws that if you're associated with a gang, you're getting way more attached to it than if you were a regular Billy, Bob, Joe, or Chuck. So they clearly focus or hyper focus on specific elements in society. Well, this is something that needs to be addressed, but it won't be addressed because the people that make those rules have no interest in that going away. And that's the problem here. And we don't have an involved society that looks at this stuff. Everybody just thinks about themselves and their own issue until these issues knock on their door. And then we want to cry, woe is me. But this is a big problem, and it's going to continue to be a problem. As we saw today, lame duck number 6, Bob Menendez, was convicted on, I think, 16 counts. I have the video, but I'm not going to go to it this week. We'll cover it next week. There's just so much activity going on right now. So, and that's a Democrat from New Jersey, and he's just a major idiot. I mean, he got past this case, I think, in 2008 for corruption and bribery and all that stuff. He got out of that, and then he immediately, after being acquitted, went right back into the same activities, just saying, I don't give a goddamn what you think. And here we go again. The only solution to this problem is to address it head on, as everything in life is. But these people will not do it because they don't want to give up their power.
Right. That's the issue where it comes into play. And I don't understand how do we get to this point where we're questioning judge, activities? Like, this is crazy when, we have to call into question the ethicsness of a judge. Like, that's just lunatic talk. Like, and then you mentioned that the one that you said that was you said it was number 6. How do you commit a crime? You essentially did double jeopardy twice. So you commit a crime to then come back out to then be prosecuted again for it again one more time.
Yep.
That's nuts. That, like, you couldn't. I don't know.
Oh, and by the way, for the Trump supporters that try to delegitimize Donald Trump's crimes, delegitimize the cases against Donald Trump, and delegitimize the 34 counts, for those people doing that, you kind of look silly when the week after Trump was indicted for 34 counts, Joe Biden's own son was prosecuted and found guilty. And now you have a Democrat, a powerful Democrat from New Jersey. He just now today got convicted of multiple counts. And there's another Democrat out there facing the same thing in Texas. So this idea that somehow Biden and the Democrats are targeting, misusing the Justice Department to attack political enemies, when at the same time, all these people are Democrats that are getting prosecuted and charged. It has nothing to do with that. It's just Donald Trump trying to skew the narrative to create suspicion of something being wrong. When the truth of the matter is, he lost in 2020, and he's the only one that lost. And all the other Republicans that won in 2020, why didn't they rig those elections if his election was rigged? So nothing is consistent, nothing is coherent, and it's quite ridiculous. And Donald Trump needs to stop walking around like he's a martyr. He's not. He's not.
And that he's immune to the everything else that his other cronies have been convicted of. Like he just like walk like he doesn't think that he should be prosecuted at that. Like that's crazy to me. Like this is where it's like, and the megamaniacs will tell you, oh, but they were always trying to get him, and I don't believe that, you know, those 34 counts were so and so. And meanwhile, we have literally what I would call archived investigative like reports and you know things out there that literally states that he's literally said the things that he said or done the things that he's done, and people are like, nope, they're just out to get him. This always been the case. It's like, when does it end? Like, when do your delusions like cross over to factual means? Like that's when I want, when, like what I'm trying to understand is, when does the enlightenment come from the MAGA group? Like it when does it happen? Like I don't understand for the like of me why they just won't take what is presented to them as facts. It's just like it's always someone trying to get the savior, which is him. It's he's almost borderline Christ-like at this point with the amount of criminality that he's committed. But I digress. This is the MAGA group we're talking about here, and they crazy. They crazy.
they cray. MD said he's dealing with a mechanic and he wanted to know if we talked about JD Vance. We did not talk about JD Vance, so we're not going to talk about him this week just simply because of time. And we'll do that next week. We'll talk about JD Vance next week and give it the proper attention that it deserves. But before we leave tonight, we'll take a little quick look at the Republican convention. It's a little 4-minute video here that just brings up some of the lowlights. But there's really nothing high about this convention, to be real. There's one thing that happened that I thought was cool. The Teamsters speech. We don't have time for that, but let's take a quick look here at some of the RNC, and then we'll do our final sign-offs.
Of course, there's this gem from Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, the polished politician, the smooth speaker, the smart guy from the South, the porn-monitoring parent, who just got done lecturing us all that Biden is unfit for office because he can't speak off teleprompter.
Unless the president is reading off a teleprompter, I don't think he's capable of making these big decisions, and that is something that should alarm all of us, and it's something that we need to be talking about.
And so here's Mike Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to introduce the Attorney General, and there goes the teleprompter.
Hello, Mike. Hello, Mike. Teleprompter? Another funny moment that was actually quite chilling was listening to the response of the Republican crowd, this same crowd who has been clamoring for an end to Roe v. Wade for over 50 years, Greet Mitch McConnell, the man who delivered the judicial coup, with a chorus of boos.
Madam Chairman, the Commonwealth of Kentucky proudly cast 46 votes for the next president, Donald J. Trump.
So how can you tell when you are in a cult? When the guy who delivers for you, the guy that serves up on a silver platter what you have been demanding, gets booed because you think he doesn't support fearless leader enough. Cameras caught Trump dozing off at his own convention. Take a look.
There to hear the state party chair there say, yeah, he's basically just been working for Silicon Valley ever since he got here. He hasn't done anything for the people who he wrote this moving book about in terms of his own background. I mean, that's, is he even breathing? That's hard to run from. That's going to stick to him, I think.
Here's something that Ohio Senator, now VP candidate, wrote in 2016 when he was comparing Donald Trump to Hitler. He begins this particular piece saying, a few Saturdays ago, my wife and I spent the morning volunteering at a community garden.
Are you awake now?
In our San Francisco
Not really.
neighborhood. And it goes on from there. Now,
Oh my God.
If that
So the good news is Trump is obviously not on Adderall here, and neither is he without his shoe lifts. And look, it's funny and all, but it isn't. We are still being bombarded with Biden should resign because he's too old. And yet this schlumpf of an orange turd with a family history of dementia and draft dodging, this convicted felon and adjudicated rapist can't even stay awake for his own convention. And what does the media say? Niente, nada, nil. Saturday's shooting has silenced the media even more. It was hard enough getting Project 2025 on their radar screen. How is the media ever going to turn its attention to the Epstein files now? Files that give credence that Donald Trump is indeed a pedophile who raped underage teens. Nope. The media is just going to bandage that up because it's time for us all to heal.
Well, it's my party and I can sleep if I want to. Donald Trump not only dozes off in the courtroom, but dozes off in the convention. This big baby is nap time, sleepy time, all the time. Well, Ricardo, what do you think here about Trump dozing off once again?
Yeah, so watching him fall asleep, listen, like it shows how I'm trying to show, give a great contrast. It shows how human like Donald Trump is. I mean, he could fart and do everything we all do, but to see him fall asleep in the court of public opinion, meaning at a convention, we ought to think that's a great thing. Damn it! No, it's funny though, because you can literally see, like, I kept saying to myself, he is literally falling asleep. Why he couldn't just skip that event? You literally got shot not too recently, and you still showed up with a bandage on your ears to then fall asleep in front of cameras. This big crybaby, of course, will always then play it off like, oh, I wasn't. You remember what he usually would say? Venke would be like, "Oh, I'm praying." Is what he usually would say. I was praying when you caught me at that time with my eyes closed. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. You will come up with every stupidness you could think of. But, sir, we know asleep when someone falls asleep, sir. You can't hide that. Like, it's okay. You're old. Like, there's nothing wrong with you being almost 70. In fact, if you're not 70 by now.
Oh, he's well over 70.
Right.
Well over 70.
But you want to call Joe Biden Sleepy Joe? You're Sleepy Trump. Like, you hella sleepy. And we always see you sleep more than we see President Biden sleep. But I digress. But it was funny just to watch him like doze in and out, and then pretend like he's waking up to then with this odd stare in his face. But yeah, Trump, it ain't a good look, and we have cameras, so you can't say you were praying, because there's a time when someone's praying, you can tell when they're praying, but then you literally was like, you could almost see the drools falling out your mouth, sir. But I digress. Pause on that one. But yeah, ain't a good look, Joe. I mean, sorry, I'm becoming Joe. Trump, it ain't a good look for you, sir. It ain't a good look.
So MD commented, and for the people in the back, who's the host sponsor for the Republican convention? The Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation, the people behind Project 2025. But when it comes to Project 2025, Donald Trump don't know who them people is.
I didn't know Manafort well. He wasn't with the campaign long.
I don't know Papadopoulos. I don't know him. I saw him sitting in one picture at a table with me. That's the only thing I know about him.
I never met this woman. I never saw this woman. I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact.
I don't know him very well. I have not spoken to him much. This is not a man I know well. Seems like a nice guy, though.
What? I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what Project 2025 is or who's behind it. Posting this on social media, quote, I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them, end quote. I don't know her.
I don't know her. I don't know that Project 25. Man.
I don't understand people, and this is why we like when Van Cat, when MD, when Mike, Mr. Wright, when all of us come on the show each week and literally tell you, like, y'all got to do your homework. This is imperative, because these people are going to gaslight all of us and say, especially him, I have no idea, like they're in the headlights. I have no idea who these people are. But yet their spokesperson is a part of that, the whole Project 2025 and the whole Heritage Fund. They're all part of it. These are his people. But we're the crazy ones, and we're the disillusioned ones, and we're the ones that are going to be like shocked to the day when we find all of it. It's right in front of us, man. Like, come on. Walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a duck. Like, it can't be a dinosaur, it's a duck. But I digress. It's crazy. This man is falling asleep. He's fighting up a storm in the courtrooms. He's doing a whole bunch of stuff. He's seeing a whole bunch of things, but he ain't crazy, but Joe is. That make sense. He ain't crazy, but
hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
What are you trying to play like? Oh yeah, I see the video. I saw that.
Oh man. All right. Well, I'd like to thank Ricardo here. We're about to wrap up the show, so we're gonna do our final sign-offs. So go ahead on, Ricardo. Final sign-offs.
All right, so great show. I think this was one of my favorite shows from an episode point of view. I think it was just crazy when Patrick came up and literally stated all the points that I think everybody wanted to say, but didn't want to say them out loud. But he brought the perspective of the person that guards the judge's perspective, and I again, if everyone can go back and look at the video, and I don't know if there's like a sound, maybe it's me, Van Cat, but when the shots were fired, I don't know if it's the sound or why is it that it looked like there was 2 shots fired, and it's like he heard one but didn't hear the other one and then ducked. Like, that don't make sense.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it makes sense. Like, if you felt a shot in your ears, wouldn't you automatically duck for cover? Why are you still standing up? And then the whole thing of him like talking about shoes and then putting his fist up like he's a black person. Nothing makes sense to me. But Somebody did bring up a good, valid point that I want to point out to everybody that's listening. There's going to be a moment now that news won't even be factual anymore. Everything's going to be so distorted that we don't even know what would be factual from what isn't, because this whole alternative foolishness is sprung out of nowhere. So I still implore everyone to still do your due diligence and know, everything that you see around you is all a distraction. It's a ruse. But at the end of the day, you still have a purpose to vote. Please do not throw that away. It's one of the most important things that we've been given, to vote. Do not throw away to exercise that right to vote. Vote, people. I implore you. And don't just state that one person is older than the other, because they're both old. They're both in the same age bracket. Just because one look more meticulously fatter doesn't mean that he's any less than. And I hate to say he is fat. So no matter how fit he thinks he is, he eats hamburgers like a freaking damn cow machine. But you can't tell him otherwise. He's one of the healthiest presidents in American history. Get that F out of here. You ain't. But I digress. They're both old people. This is what the options that we have. So don't be coming at me with the nonsense of, but he looks younger than the next. It doesn't make a damn difference. They're both old. They're both 70 something, 70 plus years. And they both saying the same gibberish, and they're both falling asleep, and they're both farting up a storm, and they're both skeezers. They're all old. So let's just put that out there. Just vote. And I need you to vote conscientiously, correctly, and not just vote on the fact that somebody's old, or I want this person to win because he's gonna end immigration. Nothing can stop immigration. This country needs people to come in, because if we don't, people are gonna get old, which is the word of the night as well, and they can't produce children. So what is gonna be the next step? To bring in more people.
That's what Japan is at right now. They have a larger older population than younger.
And these people, and that's the thing. They having plenty of sex, but they're not producing or procreating. So then, you have to bring in people eventually to then learn the culture. And what does that bring or entail? Immigration. So we can't come up with this idea if we're going to close borders and all of that. It doesn't work. It never worked for this country. This country is based on immigrants coming in. We've seen it day in and day out in every cartoon, in every historical film. They see the beacon of light from the Statue of Liberty. That ain't going to change. We need people to move freely back and forth. Now, should there be restrictions on certain things? Absolutely. But can you stop people and close the border and build up walls? That will never work. But we digress.
All right. Thank you, Ricardo. So we're gonna end the show here tonight, but before we go, I'd like to thank everyone from Maria G, of course, Tequila, as always, Tequila, Mr. Straight Talk. We had Patrick T on the panel, gave some great insight, and had some great conversations and back and forth. Of course, Mr. Mike, or AKA Mr. Right. Mike, it's always great to have Mike's presence on the show when he blesses us with that. Haven't seen Jeremy Dunbar in so long. Jeremy Dunbar, if you hear us, you're always welcome on the show, that's for sure.
He was in the chat.
He was in the chat earlier, yeah. So, we'll look forward to seeing Jeremy at some point down the road. Of course, Bones. I always appreciate Bones. And Bones is always doing his UFC thing with his brother Zay. So always check them out before and after all the big fights on UFC. You typically on a Friday and a Sunday. Before and after the matches.
Check out MMA, bro.
Yep, MMA Brothers on the Straight Talk Society, Straight Talk with Trevor channel. MD20. Of course, he has his channel, the MD20, and check out his channel. And he's always on the Thought Box every Thursday, 8:30, and he'll be bringing back God and Government, which is usually on a Monday around 8:30. So check out MD. Go to his channel. That is MD20, the Individualist. Like and subscribe on his channel. He has some great content. It always has thought-provoking, interesting conversations and topics that he covers over there every week. So when he's not knocking out Black Sun, I'm sorry, Sun Black, he's always giving us bangers on the MD20 YouTube channel. Is there anybody else? Anything else I forgot on that one there, Ricardo?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Then it's good to see Maria G back in the chat. We've been missing her in action for a good while, and we had somebody else came up on the panel.
It's Trevor, Patrick T.
Serenity.
Yeah, my sister Chanel. Yeah, she came on there.
It was good having everybody in, and feel free to come back and checking us out at TFP. We appreciate all the love out there, and we won't stop, and because Project 2025 said they plan to block us if we speak out of turn against certain people that will be running for office. So our job, you see what I'm saying? It's very V for Vendetta-esque. So we gotta prepare for that. But
they holding all the grudges and they going after it. But they're as petty as can be. So trying to see if I forget. Oh well, next month in August, a host of shows are going to be coming back to the Straight Talk Society, Straight Talk with Trevor channel. You got Pull Your Heart Out, Man Talk Monday, Wrestling with Reality. So there's a whole host of shows that'll be cranking starting early August on forward throughout the month. So just check that on the channel. You'll see all the previewed items that are going to be upcoming on the next few weeks and months on the Straight Talk Society, Straight Talk with Trevor channel. Trevor really should just change the name to Straight Talk Society, to be honest. Straight Talk with Trevor is the show. Straight Talk Society should be the channel. Just putting it out there. Any other things you want to come across, Ricardo?
Nope, that's all I can think of. But that's all she wrote. But it still looks staged, people. I mean, don't fall for it. It's all a ruse, and it's just too conveniently timed. That was the word of the night. Conveniently timed, because all of this played out during a convention week and the choice of picking a VP. So it's all publicity stunts is what I will call it, but it worked out perfectly well because here we are still talking about it how many days after. But you know what I'm saying? It's crazy the times that we're in. So I did grab my popcorn. I am expecting another come about, and Flaming Elmo is always right.
All right. So for Ricardo and for everyone else here at Straight Talk Society, we'll see you next week. Next week's show is going to take a look at the 2024 election and the 1968 election and the similarities between those two election years. Very scary similarities. It's amazing. It's just crazy how similar the things that have gone on back then and what is going on right now. So we're going to take a look at that next week. That'll be next week's show. For everyone here at the Society, peace out. We'll see you next week. Thank you for watching us today. Peace.
Out.
She just said a terrible thing. You know what she said? Shout it out, because I don't want to. Okay, you're not allowed to say, and I never expect to hear that from you again. She said, I never expect to hear that from you again. She said he's That's terrible. Terrible.